And now, ladies and gentlemen, the school song at George Ranch High School. Ladies and gentlemen, this game tonight is being conducted according to the rules and regulations of the University of Scholastic League. Regardless of the outcome of tonight's game, players have given their willingness to work in order to achieve athletic excellence. We ask that as a spectator, so in the time that each of these teams, coaches, and athletes have put forth, cheer these athletes and applaud them, and do not, through any of their actions, cause them to doubt the value of athletics. We also ask that you show your appreciation to the students who will be taking part indirectly in tonight's game. The cheerleaders, the mayors, the dance teams, and the student sections who have supported their teams at home and away. These people play a vital part in their team's success. The officials for tonight's game have been mutually agreed upon by both schools. Their role is not unlike those of coaches and teachers and administrators. For without them, this game would not be possible. We ask you as parents and citizens to demonstrate the kind of respect for these officials that you would extend to any dedicated person in the position of responsibility. Thank you. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, officials come from the Texan Association of Sports Officials, Dallas chapter. Our referee tonight, John Penn. Umpire, Corey Cornell. Linesman, David Hill. Line judge, Joshua Hill. Back judge, Reginald Andres. Field judge, Jeff Boston. And side judge, Charlie Williams. Check.
Hello from NRG Stadium in Houston. Tonight, somebody will reach a state championship for the first time in school history. From NRG Stadium alongside Burt Brocker, I'm Jeremy Branham. Welcome you to the broadcast and thanking you for making us your evening's entertainment. Tonight, George Ranch puts their perfect 14-0 record on the line as they take on Vista Ridge at 12-2. And one of these teams, Burt, will be going to a state championship for the first time. George Ranch only in their 4th year as a varsity program. Last week, finally get over that regional final hump. It was their 3rd straight regional final. First time to win the regional final, now in a state semifinal, an opportunity to go to a state championship game next week. But how do they get over this hump now? How do they make it for the first time in school history?
Well, I think the main thing is this team here understands that what it takes to win, and they're so well disciplined, they're so well coached. You watched them last week. They had total control of that game. A late fumble really made the school board look even closer than what it really was. But, what an offensive battle. All their running backs last week, phenomenal game. It's just one of these teams that you look at what Coach Tullis has done, and he's put together, like you said, in his 4th year. What a program he's put together there.
It all starts with their running back, Darius Anderson. Darius Anderson, the 5'11", 185-pound senior, over 1,700 yards on the year, committed, of course, to Missouri. And he's one player that you have to account for defensively if you're the opposition. Darius Anderson, you had an opportunity to see him last week. What makes him so special?
Well, his yards after contact. I mean, he literally hits the hole hard, but more importantly, the burst speed he had. Once he got the edge, once he saw any kind of seam back to the inside, he turned the jets on and went several times down the field for long scores. And, that's priceless from a head coach standpoint. And he even talked about it after the game. You can't teach speed. You can teach a lot of different things, but you can't teach speed.
Meanwhile, Vista Ridge, a team that's 12-2, it's also their first time to reach this point. They school opened in 06, so a pretty new program as well. They've only been around for 10 seasons. This is only their 4th time in school history to have a winning record. It's the furthest they've ever been to the postseason, and it's interesting how they did it. Last week, they beat a Vandegrift team 24-17, a team that is in their district that beat them earlier in the year by pretty considerable fashion, scored 63 points against them, so you know that they're playing their best football whenever it counts.
Well, and that's the thing about playoffs. During the year, you can have a couple bumps, and you get reprogrammed, you go back in, you look at film, you study, and you can tell they're a great coach team. Same thing. They come in here very, very excited, and they feel like they got a chance. Like you said, when you can turn it around from getting, I hate to say the snot beat out of you, but the snot beat out of you, and then turn around and do what they've done, that just shows how strong a program it is.
Yeah, they're the furthest they've ever been in the state playoffs. The previous furthest was a 2nd-round performance, so this is well beyond expectations, but they certainly don't want the road to end tonight. Same thing for George Ranch. They want to continue on their perfect season, and both these teams, Burt, very similar in the fact that they like to run the ball a lot. Vista Ridge, a team that averages nearly 500 yards per game, 361 of those come on the ground. George Ranch, same thing, 382 total offensive yards, 277 of those come on the ground. George Ranch averages about 45 points per game. Vista Ridge, 43 per game. So teams that mirror each other a little bit.
Yeah, and watching the defense, last year Temple knocked George Ranch out. So, kind of the same type scenario last week. Going against a team that knocked you out the year before, they went into that game with one thing in mind, winning, and they come out with a victory. Vista Ridge did the same exact thing against Vandegrift. So, in that Vandegrift game, it was tied up 17-17 till late in the 4th quarter. So, it was a defensive battle there. They did not score the kind of points they are. I look for this tonight, honestly, be a track meet. I mean, I think both of these teams have the ability to score points. The defenses on both sides are good, but I think they're going to go against different caliber offenses here tonight. So I think for Vista Ridge to stay in this game, they're going to have to probably score what they've been scoring the average for the year.
And a track meet really in the literal sense, too. A lot of times when you hear that phrase track meet, you think of breakneck offenses that move the ball a lot with the aerial attack. It's the exact opposite with the Longhorns and the Rangers tonight. They like to put the ball on the ground. And one other note, I'm curious to see Isaiah Villaire for Vista Ridge and how he runs the ball today. I know he probably has a chip on his shoulder because everybody that's talking about a player in this game, they're talking about Darius Anderson of George Ranch. And then you look at Villaire's yards and his stats compared to Darius Anderson, almost identical. Anderson, 1,751 yards, 21 touchdowns, while Villaire has 1,729 yards, 24 touchdowns. So we've said both of these teams mirror each other a little bit. Anderson and Villaire kind of mirror each other a little bit as well, at least statistically.
Well, and tomorrow right here we got Cedar Park taking on Ridge Point, and then in the late game we got North Shore taking on Converse Jets, and you know, it just shows a lot of talented teams right there, up there out of that section of the country.
Winner of this game will face Aledo and Lake Ridge, and that's a matchup that will kick off at the same time we do, so we'll certainly keep you up to date on all of the numbers in that one. And boy, you talk about powerhouses in Class 5A. Aledo is that. They've won 5 of the last 6. They won 6 state championships since 1998. They beat Temple last year in the state final 49-45, a team that George Ranch beat last week. But Lake Ridge, they're in their 4th year, and last year they went all the way to the 3rd round. They're looking to surprise some folks tonight and advance to the state championship game as well. Vista Ridge is the designated visiting team tonight. They'll be in the visiting white as we look across the field as they get set to make their way out of the Vista Ridge Ranger bubble on the far side.
Well, but more importantly, you see them coming out of the Houston Texan tunnel, and how great a feeling does that have to be for these young men to come out here? We saw the cheerleaders down warming up, drill teams, dance teams, you know, and what a great feeling to be playing here at NRG. And they will be back here next weekend. The nice part is this is where the state championship is next weekend. So both of these teams want to be back playing in this house next weekend.
Certainly George Ranch has a little better crowd tonight than Vista Ridge, a lot closer for the folks in George Ranch in the maroon than it is for Vista Ridge, the folks in the red, to make the trip to NRG Stadium to watch this state semifinal. So it should be an interesting one. As you mentioned, tomorrow the state playoffs continue in Texas Live, your home for Houston High School sports. Well, it looks like George Ranch is going to come out first.
And come out fired up they are.
Not too often you see both teams come out at the same time. George Ranch came out a little first, and then Vista Ridge, they came right out afterwards. They didn't let George Ranch go through it. So it should be a fun one tonight. George Ranch, Vista Ridge, well, one of them will be in the state championship for the first time in school history. We'll take a time out for the national anthem. When we come back, kickoff, Rangers and Longhorns, state title on the line on Texan Live.
Mr. Ridge has won the toss. They will receive the opening kickoff. Shake hands, gentlemen. Good luck.
Back at NRG Stadium with Burt Brocker, I'm Jeremy Branham. The captains just went out as the head official, head referee John Penn went over the coin toss. Now the coin toss won by Vista Ridge. They will receive the football first. Let's pause. Listen in to the national anthem inside of NRG Stadium in Houston. About ready to go in the Class 5A Division I state semifinals. Let's give you our officials for tonight's game. Head referees John Penn, the umpires Cornell Larry, the head line judges David Hill, line judge Joshua Penn, back judge Reginald Andrews, the field judges Jeff Wasserman, the side judge Joel Williams. In the case of an alternate, Tobian Johnson will be your alternate. George Ranch is the home team. They'll be on the near side of the football field wearing the all maroon uniforms, the black numbers, black letters, the white trim, black matted helmets with the maroon logo on the helmet. Across the field from them, the Vista Ridge Rangers, they're the designated visiting team wearing the all whites tonight with the red numbers, red letters, black helmets with the red logo in as well. So Bert, what are you thinking? What's it going to take first for George Ranch to get a victory tonight?
Well, I mean, the main thing is they got to control the clock. They got to do what they do, is score points. And whether that be on big bursts by Anderson or whether that be methodically moving the ball down the field, but they need to come out and play defense, though. I think that's the challenge that they have here against a high-powered offense like this, is they need to make sure they find some way to put the possessions in their favor in this first half.
Eric Michael, the freshman kicker, will get set to put it on a tee between the hashes on the 40. A back deep to return for the Rangers. Tyler Harris on the near side of the field stands at his 10, and Jamil Pittman on the far side stands at his 10-yard line. About ready to get underway at NRG Stadium in Houston. Michael breaks the huddle. Now we'll walk it off. Left-footed kicker. Toe into leather, and we are underway. A spiraling kick that is caught at the 29-yard line by Cody Williams. Williams runs it towards the hash, middle of the field, gets it across the 35-yard line, and gets bottled up around the 37, and that's where Vista Ridge will take over.
Yeah, that said Williams there. That was a weird kick. That ball had a ton of overspin on it, but he did a nice job, Cody Williams there, fielding it cleanly, giving his team good field position here on this first possession.
So 1st and 10 at their own 37-yard line. They'll start off in a shotgun formation with Matt Snow. Snow in the gun, fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, runs it over to the near side, takes it up the middle, might have gotten to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. Christian Novosad, the senior linebacker, delivering a blow and bringing Snow down for no gain. Novosad, the senior linebacker, 5'11", $185, letting Snow feel the pressure early. 2nd down and 10. Snow very good on the ground. He's over 2,000 yards this year on the rushing attack. This time he'll hand it off. It's Valaire running right, gets to the edge, fighting for yardage across the 40-yard line, and he's brought down at the 41. That's Jaron McVeigh. McVeigh, the senior, the great nephew of Oiler great Warren McVeigh.
Well, and what a nice job of stringing that play out right there. Even though the first man didn't make a tackle, what he did was he slowed him down and let his teammates get there. Nice job defensively so far. Big first third down of first possession here for George Ranch.
That's a great point, Bert, setting that edge and forcing the play to go outside. Now they walk up to the line, taking some time. Play clock under 15 as empty out the backfield. 2 receivers far side, 1 to the near. Tight ends both ways. They'll motion the receiver from right to left and run the option to the near side. Snow cuts it upfield, has the first down as he trips up across the 45, gets across midfield into George Ranch territory at the 49. It's a pickup of 10 yards, brought down by Anafawoshe, the big commit.
Yeah, and that's where that man has got to set that edge and stay with that quarterback. And instead, he kind of drifted out there. And that's just a play he'll look back on, wished he wouldn't have done.
You know, we talked a lot in the pregame about Valaire, but it's Snow that leads him in carries and rushes as they run the read option. He hands it off to Valaire. Valaire might have gotten a yard past the line of scrimmage before Tobe and Dukwe is able to bring him down for a gain of about a yard or 2. Give him a yard, 2nd down and 9 at the George Ranch 48-yard line. They'll move Valaire to the right shoulder of Snow, trips to the right, motion Valaire over to the near side. The throw, pulling up himself, off tackle left, got hit hard, and a flag flies. He falls forward to the 47-yard line. Big hit by Dawson Hawkins. We have to check the call. It's going to be a holding penalty. They're asking George Ranch what they want to do.
Well, but Snow took a big shot right there, and the one thing I'll give him credit for, he stayed on his feet and still managed to go forward there. So Snow's a big guy down there. He clearly ran through a tackle there.
Holding. Offense. Release the flag. It's off the play.
Wow, first cut. I mean, that's a big call right there. Instead of having second down and 19, you got third down and we'll call it 9 right there, Jeremy. So first coaching decision made by Coach Tullis tonight.
Officially no gain on the play, and as you mentioned, they're going to keep it on a 3rd and 9 as George Ranch declines the holding penalty and will force Vista Ridge into a 3rd and long. Vista Ridge so far on 3rd downs tonight, 1 for 1, as they have split backs in the backfield. They'll motion a receiver, that's Christian Dominguez from left to right. Snow takes the snap, fakes the handoff, looking to throw. He's looking deep, and he has a man inside the 20. 15, 10, 5, touchdown. That's Ryan Landrum, the junior receiver, and connecting first, Vista Ridge, as they throw the first punch, and they lead 6-0. It was Mikel Ono on coverage, and he was yelling Ono as he was burned for the score.
Yeah, but that's all Snow right there. Watch him on the read option right there, then looking downfield, and just absolutely threw a strike. Dead on the money. His receiver did exactly what he was supposed to do, made sure he fielded the ball cleanly, and then went into the end zone. What a nice pitch and catch right there.
49 yards, as on to attempt the extra point is Diego Charamonte.
And it's good.
Up and in, and Vista Ridge with the early 7-0 lead. 9:20 left to play in the first quarter from NRG in Houston. It's Vista Ridge 7, George Ranch 0 on Texan Live.
Allspa's is so much more than Ace Hardware. Sure, we have nuts and bolts, lawn and garden, faucets and fixtures, lights and locks, even outdoor cooking. But Allspa's is also a boutique, featuring the finest names in jewelry and home accessories. But most importantly, Allspa's is a friendly, helpful family of people who take pride in their products and services. Allspa's is Ace Hardware, and so much more.
Back at NRG Stadium in Houston, 9:20 left to play in the first quarter. A 7-0 lead as Vista Ridge leads George Ranch. The drive summary as we take a look. Texan Live drive summary. 6 plays, 63 yards, 2 minutes and 36 seconds off the clock. A 48-yard touchdown pass from Snow to Landrum, putting the Rangers on the board first. Quite a drive, Hunt, especially 3rd downs. They had 2 third downs and picked them up both.
Yep, absolutely. And that's just one of those scenarios where, you know, George Ranch defense did exactly what they were supposed to do other than the money down. And, of course, gave up a 1st down and then a long pass there. So
back deep, George Ranch, Darius Anderson, as is Joshua Scruggs. They both stand around their 10-yard line, a little staggered. Anderson is inside his 10, while Scruggs is up a couple of steps around his 12, 13-yard line. Bryce Dahl, who's a running back, is kicking off for Vista Ridge. Interesting because Diego Charamonte, the senior kicker, is the one who knocked in the extra point.
Little different formation here on the kickoff, too. They double stack people.
They'll pooch it up in the air a little bit. Kind of a deep pooch. It's fielded at the 15-yard line, and bringing it back is Scruggs. Scruggs trying to run it over to the near side, and he won't get very far. He got past the 15-yard line, but he's shy of the 20 as Roberto Ferreira on the special teams coverage gets down the field. Zach Bryan as well, a linebacker, stopping Scruggs for a very short return.
Yeah, Bryan come in there back on the backside and actually finished up the play, but once again, Vista Ridge special teams first play, they pick up the check mark.
Here comes this Longhorn offense led out by quarterback Antonio Jackson, the junior. The big name player, though, Darius Anderson, the running back, the Missouri commit, 221 carries on the year. He's over 1,700 yards, 27 touchdowns on the ground on an offense that averages nearly 45 points per game. They'll come out with 2 receivers over to the near side, stacked up. They'll motion one. They'll hand it off to Anderson. Anderson looking for a hole off the tackle left. Gets hit, stays at his feet, running forward. Keeps his feet all the way to the 22-yard line. Not much room. Pretty nice to get a pickup of 3 yards on the play.
Yeah, Blake Harrison there on the tackle there, and a host of Vista Ridge players. But Harrison there, the first one to lead the charge.
It's kind of what you have to do with Anderson. You need a lot of bodies to bring him down. You saw that evident on that very first run as he got hit in the backfield and was still able to run forward for 3. 2nd and 7 as they hand it off on the end around to Scruggs. Scruggs running left, fighting for yardage, gets across the 25-yard line. He gets hit and brought down by Jeremiah Chambers, the senior linebacker. Gets it to the 26, gain of 4 on the end around.
Well, and here you go. From a field position standpoint, Vista Ridge get a stop here. They're going to get good field position. The fans are in it, team's in it, everybody on their feet over there.
Jackson in the gun. He has Anderson off to his left shoulder. Handoff, Anderson to the near side, has the first down and more, cuts it back inside. He's tripped up across the 30 to the 34-yard line, a pickup of 8 yards and a first down for George Ranch. Caleb Welch got the hand to trip him up.
Well, and if Welch don't catch him, I haven't seen him in breakaway yet. I haven't seen nobody be able to catch him yet, but I think that was the last defense line there. Nice job by him of knocking him down there, just even with the shoestring tackle.
Send a receiver in motion. They fake it to Anderson. They fake it to the receiver in motion. Jackson has all days and a tuck in and run across the 35, gets a block across the 40, and he tucks it out of bounds at the 45. A pickup of 11, a first down. Blake Harrison, the nearest Ranger to force him out.
Nice job defensively of covering downfield, but backside pursuit there just gave away, and then he picked up a big block downfield right there by his wide receiver, picking up 11 on that play.
1st and 10 at their own 45-yard line. Couple of first downs for the Longhorns. Antonio Jackson's in the gun. He has Anderson to his left shoulder, receiver to the near side, 2 to the far. Jackson, handoff, Anderson sweeps it right. Anderson got hit low and high. A nasty looking hit, takes it to the 49, a pickup of 4. Bo Jackson, you heard it right, making the stop at the 49 after a pickup of 4 yards. Near midfield where the Longhorns will have it 2nd and 6. Both teams don't huddle. They run that spread running style attack, and they do it in a high tempo pace. Near midfield, 2nd down and 6. Motion man Scruggs, handoff Anderson. Anderson looked to bounce outside, and he gets hit and stopped. Wrapping him up and making the hit, Jeremiah Chambers again. At the 49-yard line. That was Fontenot on the carry. Alex Fontenot giving Anderson a spell as the backup running back gets it back to the line of scrimmage for no gain. So far, neither one of these defenses on a 3rd down has been able to get off the field. George Ranch 1 for 1. Earlier on the first drive for Vista Ridge, they picked up both their 3rd down conversions. Offset backfield with Jackson in the gun. Handoff, it's Fontenot. Fontenot running left, has room. Across the 45, 40,
gone.
He is gone. 30, 20, 10, touchdown Alex Fontenot, the junior, as he scampers in from 51 yards out. And George Ranch matches Vista Ridge's first possession, and an extra point away from tying this one up with 6:26 left to play in the first quarter.
And I've got to give Fontenot's family and friends out there who's watching him last week. We gave Anderson, because that 1 and 6 looks a lot alike, and even up here high tonight. Fontenot had some great runs last week, and what a nice job there of showing his speed when he broke into open field there. Nobody even close to catching him.
Eric Michael, the freshman left-footed kicker, to attempt the extra point. It's up and it's thrown. We're tied. A 51-yard touchdown run by Alex Fontenot has tied this one up. 6:26 left to play in the first quarter. This is the Class 5A semifinals on Texan Live.
At Cavenders, we don't just wear the West, we live it.
I live for a good run.
I live for the crowd.
My scar.
7 flat in the short round.
My face.
Working with my partner.
8 seconds, nothing less.
Rooting for the bull.
Cavenders, don't just wear it, live it.
Back inside NRG Stadium alongside Burt Brocker, I'm Jeremy Branham. Tied up at 7. Texan Live drive summary, a 7-play, 81-yard drive, taking 2 minutes and 56 seconds off the clock. And they do it on a 3rd down play, 2 for 2 with George Ranch on 3rd down during that drive. Same thing for Vista Ridge, and that might be the story of the game. Who can get off the field on 3rd downs for these defenses?
Well, yeah, because both teams look good on the first 2 downs, and then gave up big plays right there. So I guess George Ranch said, what you can do, I can do. So here we go.
Off to kick it away is Michael, the freshman kicker. Could you imagine if this game came down to the left foot of a freshman kicker? That would be something.
It don't get no bigger than that.
Tyler Harris, Jamel Pittman back deep to return the kick. Line drive kick that will be fielded at the 11-yard line by Tyler Harris. Harris trying to run towards the middle of the field. Now runs it across the 20, across the 25, and a big hit. David Fisher making Harris pay for that return out to the 26.
And it looked like he had found a little bit of a seam right there, so Fisher did a nice job of filling right there in the middle and laying the lumber.
Here comes back out the Ranger offense. Matt Snow, he only threw one pass in that first drive. It was a 48-yard strike for a touchdown on a third down play as he connected with Landrum for the score. Landrum made that touchdown grab. And here's Snow in the gun. They'll motion a receiver, hand it off to the receiver in motion. And running it to the right side across the 30 to the 32-yard line on the carry of what was the running back Isaiah Villaire to Jaron McVeigh. Stop.
You know, you see that jet sweep so much now, and it just makes the defense be on their heels.
5-yard gain on the play to Villaire. Sets up a second down and 5 at their own 31-yard line. Offset pistol. Snow has it back to his right. Now they flip him over to the left side as they flip the play. Now they'll motion Dominguez from left to right. They'll run the option to the near side. The pitch goes to Villaire. Villaire across the 35, looking for the sideline across the 40. And he's forced out of bounds at the 43-yard line. A pickup of a dozen as he's shoved out of bounds by McVeigh again. Adam Beck in the vicinity as well.
Yeah, Adam Beck, though, did a nice job there of making sure that he didn't get the outside. Because if he got the outside of him, there was nothing but green in front of him. So nice job by Beck there fighting off the block and not allowing him to get to the outside there. Probably would have went the distance.
Spotted at the 44. It was a gain of 13. First and 10 now. Trips to the right side. Snow in the gun. The motion out of back. Snow will keep it himself. He runs it up the middle, fighting for yardage near midfield. He touches down to the 49. It's a pickup of 5 yards by Snow on the keeper. Christian Novosad, the senior linebacker, with the stop.
Yeah, but probably picked up 3 yards after contact right there. That's what I was talking about with Snow earlier. He runs so hard downhill, and he clearly was read option there, and he just cut it back.
Second and 5 at their own 49. Snow in the gun, it back to his right shoulder. I believe it's Dahl. They'll send Villaire in motion, hand it to him. He cuts it back inside as he gets into George Ranch territory. He's brought down at the 48 and George Ranch territory. It's a gain of 3. Adam Beck the stop, and it sets up a 3rd and short.
Well, we said who's going to get off the field first on 3rd down, and here we go. Another opportunity for George Ranch.
Villaire has touched it 5 times so far tonight. He's picked up 26 yards on the ground. Facing a 3rd down and 2 at the Longhorn 48, taking their time. Play clock down to 12. Snow's in the gun as he backs up. Villaire to the right shoulder. Motion Dominguez left to right. Snow keeps it himself. Look to cut back inside. He trips over his right guard, falls backwards to the 50, and he loses 2 yards on the play.
Well, and you know, I think they're going to punt here, and what a nice job. But that was a play that Snow really kind of got a little tricky with himself there. It looked like instead of just going ahead and trying to go outside, he was kind of thinking, well, maybe I'll cut back. So first victory for the George Ranch defense, first 3 and out.
Jeremiah Chambers, the linebacker, is your punter. George Ranch guarding against a fake will have nobody back deep. They snap it to Chambers. Chambers a line drive kick. This will bounce at the 6, takes a sidewards bounce, and now a little bit of backspin inside the 5. It's touched at the 4, bounces backwards to the 6-yard line. Heck of a job by Chambers. 44 yards officially, no return as it's down by Carter Purdue. Good job by George Ranch getting off the field on a 3rd down, but Vista Ridge able to pin them deep. Here comes the Longhorn offense with 3:41 left to play in the first quarter. We're tied at 7. And George Ranch will be working out of the shadows of their own goalpost. George Ranch on the field last time, got the 51-yard touchdown run by Fontenot. So they're able to knot it up at 7 apiece. It's Anderson to the backfield now. Motion up front. Little pushing and shoving there with Anderson. And Brandon Chance. False start on the offense. Josh Scruggs. That'll back him up half a distance to the goal. So it's a 3-yard penalty. And it's a rare 1st and 13.
Well, the ball is on the 3-yard line. They got to be careful here.
They'll work out of the pistol. Option to the near side. Pitch it out to Anderson. Anderson has room, and he has the sideline across the 20, 30, cuts it back inside to the 35, 40, and he's tackled from behind all the way across the 45-yard line. A pickup of 42 as Blake Harrison tackles him from behind and perhaps prevents the score. "42 yards, and they go quick. Jackson in the pistol takes the snap, handoff Anderson. Anderson near side, stiff arm across the 45, cuts it back inside across the 50 into Vista Ridge territory before he's slung out of bounds at the Vista Ridge 49 by Bo Jackson. It's a gain of 6.
Well, that's the thing about Anderson. All right there. He was blockers. He was patient, even though he has the speed to turn it up there. Nice job of picking up an extra 2 or 3 yards there, being patient, waiting on his blockers to give him a seam.
The ball will be spotted at the 49, just below the big Toro nose in midfield. 2nd and 4. Pistol formation for Jackson. He has Anderson split behind him and towards the left. Handoff, Anderson up the middle. Anderson runs into the back of a lineman, bounces off of him, runs it across the 45 to the 4, and there's a first down, a leg late, no call. They're out of the 43. Brendan Chance to tackle. It's a pickup of 6 yards. After the play, you had a little pushing and shoving, and you had one of the Rangers just fly across the field. The referees thought he was flopping. 1st and 10 at the 44. Motion man, left to right. Fake the handoff to him. Jackson's looking to throw. He throws it to the near side, and it's caught by Fontenot inside the 30-yard line. Forced out of bounds at the 25 by Blake Harrison. A 19-yard pitch and catch between Jackson and Fontenot.
Nice wheel right there by Fontenot. Right back ball out. Fontenot did a job, good job though of being patient there and letting that ball come to his make out the ball before he took off running.
Jackson takes the snap, turns, hands it off Fontenot. Fontenot on tackle left. Gets into the line of scrimmage, couple more yards to the 23. He's hit and he's brought down by Bo Jackson for a short gain of 2. Anderson, 6 carries, 70 yards. That was Fontenot's 3rd carry. He has 52 yards on the ground so far to this point. 2nd and 8 at the 23. Jackson's in the pistol. Fakes the handoff. Now he gives it to Fontenot. Fontenot runs it left, and he takes it to the 20, and that's it.
Jeremiah Chambers flying in there for Vista Ridge, though.
Dalton McKay, the senior defensive back, with the stop. Pickup of 3 yards to the 20. 3rd and 5 with the ball on the nose of the red zone. Jackson, snap, he rolls right, looking to throw, fires near side, caught at the 15-yard line. It's going to be close, and I think they gave him the first down as Josh Scruggs makes the catch. Tyler Harris was in coverage. He needed the 15-yard line, and the nose of the football is across the 15. First down on the pickup of 5. First and 10 at the 15-yard line of Vista Ridge. We're tied at 7. A minute 25 left to play in the first. Jackson changes the play. Fontenot's in the backfield. Hands it off to Fontenot. Runs right. Somebody lost a helmet as Fontenot's ripped down. And a late flag comes flying in. This right now stands as a gain of 13 as R.J. Phillips brings Fontenot down for the pickup of 2. And it looked like losing his helmet. Running off the field is Jake Gore, the junior right guard. A bigger Michael Batigo. Personal foul. It's whistled on George Ranch. This is the first big penalty of the night. It's going to cost him 15 yards, a big one. So you give him the yard. It's just going to be a post-play penalty. Give him the yardage to the 13, pick up a 2 by Fontenot, and now walk it off 15 yards from there.
And personal foul, number 73 of the offense. His helmet came off, and he continued to block.
That's unfortunate.
Still first down.
One of the rules in the high school and the college game is once you lose a helmet, you cannot continue playing. It's a rule for safety, and you know why the rule is there. It's very obvious why it's there, and it needs to be there. But I bet you most of the time the players don't know that it's there.
But it did stay first. Well, now they moved to the second.
Yeah, it was a post-play penalty. The scoreboard's wrong inside NRG. Second down and long. They pitch it out to Fontenot running left. Fontenot has a blocker in front, looks to get the sideline, sheds off a man inside the 20. They say he stepped out of bounds by 19. First down, Dalton McKay. It's a gain of 9 yards. 50 minutes left to play in the first quarter. George Ranch will be facing a 2nd and 14 when we come back. We're tied at 7 on Texan Live.
Now, let the savings begin. For a limited time, get $8,000 savings off MSRP on 2015 GMC Yukons. Even 2015 GMC Sierra 1500s for just $25,900. Huge savings and selection only at West Point Buick GMC. Easy to get to on the Katy Freeway. Exit Parker Cypress both ways. We look forward to seeing you soon.
West Point Buick GMC. A better place to buy.
Back in NRG Stadium with Burt Brocker, I'm Jeremy Branham. Happy to have you with us tonight. 2nd down and 14. Game tied at 7 late in the first quarter. Under a minute left to play in the first. Handoff, running right, it's Fontenot. Fontenot fighting for yardage all the way across the 15 to the 15. But there's a flag down near where the line of scrimmage originally was. Tackle Caleb Welch.
Illegal formation there. He gained a yard. They might turn down and bring up a 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, let's see. Rodney Vincent, who's in his 7th year with Vista Ridge, 45 wins against 34 losses in his tenure with the Rangers. Going over the options now with the officials. Still has not given his answer. They're going to decline it. It was a gain of 4 to the 15 by Fontenot. They'll set up a 3rd down and 10 at the 15-yard line. So far tonight, George Ranch is 3 for 3 on 3rd downs.
Big play here for the Rangers defense, no doubt about it.
Scruggs the motion man, fake it to him, keeping it himself as Jackson plunging forward, and Jackson's hit, and he's brought down after a modest gain of a yard or 2. R.J. Phillips, the senior linebacker, delivering the blow and setting up a 4th down.
Well, you said it earlier, it's not for the game winner, but here comes out the freshman to attempt a field goal.
Now there's only 10 seconds. Away, so it looks like George Ranch either they're going to hustle and force and rush this kick, or they'll just wait. The first quarter will do the same. 12 minutes are in the book in this Class 5A Division I semifinal. A trip to the state championship on the line, and after 1, we're tied at 7 on Texan Live.
Only one network is big enough to cover the great state of Texas, and only one show travels across the state to get the skinny on high school sports every week, all year long. You want the best in high school sports? Catch High School Spotlight on Fox Sports Southwest.
Download the new Fox Sports Southwest Football Friday app. Connect and get live scores statewide. Find games near you. Plus, get your photos on our Friday night show. This is the one app that can handle high school football in Texas. Hit the App Store and type Football Friday. Friday high school football isn't over till you watch High School Scoreboard live. Final scores, big plays, plus the DQ Big Game of the Week.
Be a part of the most watched high school football show in Texas.
Saturday night on Fox Sports Southwest.
Back in NRG Stadium in Houston, alongside the ghost of Burt Brocker, I'm Jeremy Branham. We're tied at 7. It's coming on to attempt the field goal. Left-footed freshman kicker, Eric Michael. Out of the hold of Zach Hutton, the junior quarterback. Teed up at the 20, 30-yard field goal attempt. Good snap, good hold, line drive, spiraling kick is no good. He pulled it right. Pulled it right, no good. Thirty-yard field goal attempt is off the mark. And Vista Ridge dodges a bullet. So both of these teams, Bert, have had the ball twice apiece now. On their first possession, they would go down and score. Vista Ridge would get into George Ranch territory, but they would have to punt. George Ranch able to get all the way into the red zone, had to settle with a field goal, had the unsportsmanlike penalty when the helmet came off. Missed a field goal. So far, 2 possessions each, some early observations.
Well, both teams have settled down. I mean, you know, those first 2 possessions, big throw on third down for a touchdown and a big run on third down, but these defenses have really solid up, and that right there proves it.
Quarterback keeper by Matt Snow. He runs it forward, doesn't get very. Tackle made by DJ Thomas, the senior defensive lineman. He loses a yard back to the 19. Second down and 11. Neither one of these teams huddle. Snow has Valaire to his left shoulder. Loses the football on the read option. It falls to the turf, but Snow was able to jump on it and recover. To the 17-yard line, they lost 2 more. Tessalum Anafawoshi, the senior defensive lineman, will get credit with that tackle, but all he had to do was just jump on top of Snow. Really didn't even have to do that with the high school rules.
Yeah, but Snow did a nice job there. Even though on the read option he's having problems getting it pulled out, he did just go straight down and field the ball cleanly and not turn the ball over right here in the red zone.
Snow, who's over 2,300 yards on the year so far tonight, has just 8 yards on 7 carries. Third down and 13. Ball spotted at their own 17-yard line. They run the option near side.
He may go.
Is Snow. Snow at the 30, 35-40, spin move, holding on for dear life and ripping them down across the 45 to the 46-yard line was Mikel Onu, the senior defensive back. That's a gain of 29 yards.
How do you not put somebody on Snow right there?
Well, I think the problem is that they did. That's how good Snow is.
Good point.
Snow just cut it across the grain. The play was running to the near side. Snow realized all of the motion going that way and just cut it back up the field and was able to misdirect everybody. First and 10 at the 46. Snow, the snap, fakes the handoff, keeps it himself. He's wrapped up. Snow trying to fight for yards, but they'll blow and stop forward progress. Bear hugging him in the back. And Nukwa, a loss to the 44. He loses 2. Loses 2 to the 44, second down and 12. Split back, still formation, now they flip it over. Take the handoff, or the snap rather. He pitches it over to the near side. Valaire cuts it back inside across the 50. He's at the 40, looks for the sidelines to the 30, 25-20, and he shoved out of bounds inside the George Ranch 20-yard line, inside the Longhorn red zone. Brett Ugo, the junior linebacker, forces him out of bounds at the 18. 38 yards on the carry by Valaire. Valaire, 6 carries, 63 yards.
Very patient out there on the outside there, of letting his blocker set that outside edge for him and then showing his speed.
Keeping himself as Snow as he takes it forward on the quarterback plunge, and he gets it to about the 16-yard line. That's it. He picks up a couple of yards on the first down play to stop Miles Thompson. Second down and 8. Ball at the 16. Handoff, it goes to Dahl. No, he kept it himself, Snow. Boy, and the flag comes in. This is going to be a face mask on George Ranch. Boy, you talk about it's tough running that read option, and here's why. Knowing, one, when to hand it off, but two, the communication of when to take the ball, when to pull it out, and that's why we saw it on the turf once. How do they keep that communication going forward? We know they run this type of offense, they do it a lot, but how are they so good at it?
Well, I mean, it just comes down to, like you said, it's repetition. And, you know, and you've got to understand that your quarterback at any given time can pull that ball back as a halfback, and you've got to know as soon as he puts it in there, his hand moves, and you lock down and you do what you're
down as a first 7. They hand it off on the end around at the 5, looking for the end zone's Valaire. Can't quite as he's tripped up at the 3 line. Jerron McVay pick up a 4. Second down and goal at the 3-yard. 8:44 left to play. Half for 7, a trip to on the line. Snow is he has Valaire to his left shoulder. They'll motion Dominguez right to left. Snow's going to keep it himself on the sweep to the left. He's hit the backfield, sheds a defender, dives into the end zone, and scores! Matt Snow, a tough, hard-nosed 3-yard run, and Vista Ridge is back in front.
Well, as we saw earlier, when he broke, you know, he had no chance of going the distance. But I tell you what, when you need 3, 4, 5 yards, he's definitely the man. He is absolutely a hoss and running over people right there and breaking tackles.
On to attempt the extra point is Chiravante. McVay had a chance to hit Snow. He did hit him, but Snow was able to just shed right off McVay and get into the end zone. The extra point, just a high spiraling kick, and it's through. And Vista Ridge back in front. 8:25 left to play in the second quarter. A 14-7 Ranger lead on Texan Live.
Is so much more than Ace Hardware. Sure, we have nuts and bolts, lawn and garden, faucets and fixtures, lights and locks, even outdoor cooking. But All Spas is also a boutique featuring the finest names in jewelry and home accessories. But most importantly, All Spas is a friendly, helpful family of people who take pride in their products and services. All Spas is Ace Hardware, and so much more.
8:25 left to play in the second quarter at NRG Stadium. It's a 14-7 lead for Vista Ridge. Texan Live drive summary. 8 plays, 80 yards, using up 3 minutes and 31 seconds off the clock. 3-yard touchdown run by Matt Snow. Bulldozing a power touchdown run from 3 yards out. 14-7 advantage for Vista Ridge. Snow now, 12 carries, 42 yards. He got off to a slow start, had a couple of big runs on that drive. Valaire, 7 carries, 67 yards for Vista Ridge. Kicking it away will be Bryce Dahl. Return man Darius Anderson back deep. Joshua Scruggs up back there as well. Scruggs is standing at his 19-yard line. And Anderson is across the field, the far side, standing at his 10. Bryce Dahl, about 4 yards deep. Kicks it away. Scruggs steps forward, fields it at the 23-yard line. Scruggs looking for lost the football. It's on the ground, still loose, and finally recovered by Vista Ridge. Was he in bounds is the question. Was he in bounds whenever he scooped up the fumble? Nick Papasek picked it up, but he had his foot on the sideline. His foot was on the sideline. George Ranch will retain the football. He had it stripped away. It went off a George Ranch player. It was right through the hands of another. And then there was a good call. It was a great call by John Penn and crew. Because Nick Papasek, he had his foot on the sideline whenever he recovered the football. So George Ranch gets a big break. They'll start this drive at their own 31-yard line, trailing 14-7 with 8:19 left to play in the second quarter. Pistol formation for Antonio Jackson. Jackson turns, hands it off. It's Anderson up the middle. Anderson fighting for yards to the 25, and that'll be the end of the road as he picks up to the 35, I beg your pardon, as he picks up 4 yards to the 35-yard line. Tackle made by Jeremiah Chambers. Clock approaching the 8-minute mark in the second quarter. 14-7. Vista Ridge has the lead. Look over to the sidelines. Jackson will be in the pistol. They'll motion a receiver. Well, there was a lot of motion up front. Back yards. That was just out of sync. Jake Gore, the right guard, junior, called for the penalty. Back him up 5 yards to the 30. They'll set up a second down and 11. Fourth penalty for George Ranch. They've lost 30 yards on those penalties. And another flag flies. Again, motion up front. Coach is scratching over on the near sideline. This time it's the right tackle, Michael Botigo. Botigo is the one who had that 15-yard penalty a little bit earlier whenever he lost his helmet and kept on with the play. I understand those penalties. I hate the call, though, because the player's just trying to play, trying to do something to help out his teammates. So now 5 penalties for 35 yards for George Ranch. This one backs him up to the 25-yard line, and they're facing a second down and 16. Antonio Jackson have a receiver in motion left to right. He hands it off Anderson. Anderson shields off a tackler. He's gone. 40, 50, into Vista Ridge territory to the 20. High stepping inside the 10, and he will score. Darius Anderson from 75 yards, outrunning Tyler Harris, who had an angle, but Anderson was able to get away and score from 75 yards deep. The 28th touchdown run by Darius Anderson this season. And on to attempt the extra point, who missed the field goal earlier, Eric Michael. Extra point is up, extra point is good, and we're tied up again. 6:48 left to play in the second quarter. It's Vista Ridge 14, George Ranch 14. As you're watching Class 5A state semifinals on Texan Live.
At Cavender's, we don't just wear the West, we live it.
I live for a good run.
I live for the crowd.
My scar.
7 flat in the short round.
My face.
Working with my partner.
8 seconds, nothing less.
Rooting for the bull.
Cavender's. Don't just wear it.
Back at NRG Stadium, where we're tied up at 14 apiece. The latest Texan Live drive summary. 2 plays, 69 yards, 1:31 off the clock. Plays one of the most interesting scoring drives you'll ever see. You had a 5-yard run, you had 2 penalties back-to-back, and then you had a 75-yard touchdown run. So we're all tied up 14 apiece. 6:48 left to play in the second quarter. Alongside Burt Brocker, I'm Jeremy Branham. How about that run by Darius Anderson?
That was unbelievable, and once again showed his speed. Outran everybody to the pylon. One man had a chance there to make a tackle, and he high-stepped it out of it, and it's just what he does. He's a very, very gifted athlete, and coming out of 5A, going to Missouri, that clearly backs up what we're saying.
Lake Ridge leads Aledo 14-7 in that state semifinal. Winner of that one gets the winner of this one next week at NRG.
Well, we know the powerhouse of Aledo, so would be a big upset.
Kick is on its way. It'll go off the hand of the returner into the end zone. He's going to bring it out across the 10, across the 15, and he's hit and he's brought down to the 16-yard line. Jamil Pittman, he went back. The ball was going to go out of the end zone. He tried to reach up and make the grab, went off the fingertips and ricocheted into the end zone, and Pittman wanted to bring it out just to be safe.
Yeah, and I think he's fortunate that he returned it to where he did, but, you know, that ball was muffed, so he could have just taken a knee there. A lot of times in high school, though, that's not what your brain's saying.
Right.
So Vista Ridge is actually going to start off in bad field position, just like the opening kick or first kickoff to George Ranch. They started out around the 19. So be curious to see if George Ranch defense can step up here again and get another stop and get the ball back with good field position.
First down and 10 at their own 16-yard line. Snow will have Dahl to his left shoulder. Now he motions him to the tight end spot. The motion receiver from left to right, fake it to him. Snow is going to keep it himself, sprints to the left side, and he takes it to the 19-yard line. Tackle made by Miles Thompson, the senior linebacker, but he gets a gain of 3 to the 19.
Hawkins there went low on him, a little slow getting up, but he's back on his feet.
6:20 and counting. Left to play in the first half of NRG, and we're tied at 14 apiece. Snow's in the gun, nobody in the backfield. Now they motion a receiver from left to right. Snow, the option near side, keeps it himself. He's tripped up across the 20-yard line. He goes, and he gets it to the 21. It's a pickup of 2.
Well, and that was another play right there. Snow doesn't get tripped up. Looked like he is really cutting back quickly there on that read option. So they've undoubtedly seen something up top and have radioed down, hey, if it's there, go.
3rd down and 5 at the 21. Vista Ridge 3 for 4 on 3rd downs tonight. 2 backs in the backfield, 1 to each shoulder for Snow. Snow takes the snap, fires it quickly near side, caught at the 29, staying on his feet across the 30. 1st down and more on the quick throw to Pittman as he takes it to the 33-yard line, a pickup of 12, and another 1st down for Vista Ridge, their 1st down of the night.
Well, one thing we haven't seen Snow do a lot tonight is throw the ball, but on the passes we have seen, that ball was actually released before his receiver even broke on it, so they knew where the ball was going before he ever left his hand.
1st and 10 at their own 33-yard line. Pair of receivers to each side. Snow's in the pistol. They'll move a receiver in motion left to right, fake it to him, run the option to the far side. They'll pitch it now across the 30 to the 35, forced over that far sideline. Valaire towards the 40-yard line. We'll see where they spot it. They give him the 40. It's a pickup of 7 yards on the option to the far side.
Miles Thompson there did a nice job of knocking him off his feet, though, because, again, he had got that edge.
2nd down and 3, balls at the 40. Trips over to the near side. Snow will be in the gun. We're tied at 14 with less than 4:45 to play in the 2nd quarter. Snow, the snap, handoff, Valaire. Valaire doesn't have much room as he gets it across the line of scrimmage, and that's the end of the row. No gain on the play. Getting into the backfield, just penetrating that offensive line was the big one up front. DJ Thomas, Tesla, and Afawoshi in the area.
Yep, here we go. Big 3rd down here for both teams.
3rd down and long. A long 3 at the 40-yard line. Snow option near side, pitches it, the ball's loose. Dahl will jump back on it. Dahl touched it, couldn't handle the hard pitch, and they lose yards back to the 30, a loss of 10.
Well, but a lot of times in high school, you won't see them be a heads-up play like Doyle did there. They'll go ahead and try to pick the ball up and make something happen and then end up losing it. So nice job by Doyle there of giving his team an opportunity to bring the defense back out here after this punt.
On to punt it away is Jeremiah Chambers. Chambers stands inside his 20-yard line, and a flag flies. His back deep was Joshua Scruggs. Oh, there's too many people on the field. There's 12 guys on the punt team, and nobody knows who to go off. I'm counting 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Somebody's on, they're not supposed to be. And now taking the long walk with the tail between the legs is D'Amico Bostra. That'll back them up 5 yards on the illegal substitution, and 12 on the field. They lose the 5 yards back to the 25. They were facing a 3rd and 3 at their own 40. They've lost 15 yards on back-to-back plays. High spiraling kick. Scruggs will catch it at his 37, runs to the near side, gets hit from behind, stays on his feet, still on his feet, but won't get any further as he gets it to about the 38-yard line, and that is it, as he couldn't get out of the hands of Zach Bryant.
Scruggs was pretty right there. That's a play that I was surprised he didn't wait for a fair catch there. He had 2 men just barreling down on him, so good job by him of fielding it cleanly, and only picked up 2, but that's just a play. I thought Scruggs for sure was going to put his hand up in there, but he never did.
Here comes the George Ranch offense, tied at 14. George Ranch has not led tonight. Darius Anderson, 8 carries, 149 yards. Alex Fontenot has 7 carries, 70 yards. They take the snap, they fake the handoff, they fake the end around, they'll lob it to the near side, and it's caught at the 40. Still on his feet is Morris. Down the near sideline to the 20. 15-10, sheds off a man, and he's into the end zone. Quentin Morris catches it from Antonio Jackson, and they go 62 yards for another touchdown, and George Ranch leads for the first time tonight.
But Morris did a nice job there again. You talk about it all the time. He made sure he secured the catch. And there was a defensive linebacker there that went up high. Looked like he was going to break it up, possibly even intercept it. Instead, Morris kept great concentration there, had the ball come into his hands, caught the ball away from him, and then outran everybody to the pylon for a touchdown to put George Ranch up here.
Michael's extra point is up, and it is good. And George Ranch, for the first time tonight, in front. 21-14, 2:56 left to play in the second quarter. This is the Class 5A state semi on Texan Live. Back at NRG Stadium, not sure if you call it a drive, just one play, 62-yard hookup between Jackson and Quentin Morris. Puts George Ranch in front for the first time tonight, 21-14 with 2:56 left to play in the second quarter. And a great play call. You can hit them with a run. A couple play action, throw it downfield, you get a score out of it.
Well, and the thing that Jackson did right there is he did a nice job there of sealing that ball to his hip and selling out the run there, and then dropping back. He wanted to go deep. That man was covered. Then he came down to his check down. And once again, like I said, what a great catch by Morris there. And then outran everybody to the house. So nice job. Of course, that puts the Longhorns on top here. But this game is far from over. 2:56. Rangers have all 3 timeouts.
Fans, make sure to log on to Texan Live to vote for the Player of the Year in the city of Houston. Voting will close next weekend. Make sure you cast your vote today at TexanLive.com. New home for high school sports. Here's the boot away from George Ranch. Catching it at his 2-yard line and bringing it back is Pittman. Pittman across the 15, bounces off a man, spins off a man, and then finally has his feet taken out from under him at the 22-yard line. And that's where the Vista Ridge Rangers will take over the football with 2:50 left to play in the second, trailing for the first time tonight. First down and 10. We'll see how the Rangers respond with looking at a deficit for the first time tonight.
You know, you look down on the field, Pittman is only a sophomore, 5'9", 170.
Two receivers each side. Snow's in the gun. Snow's going to roll out over to the near side. He's going to launch it deep downfield. There was some contact made. Does not bring the flag out from the official. The intended receiver was Jamel Pittman. But no call made. Might have been some inadvertent contact, some accidental contact. Also, the ball might have been uncatchable.
Well, I think Pittman would probably disagree with that, but you know what? They're down there on the field. Couldn't tell how much contact from up here exactly took place. Good no call, in my opinion.
George Ranch moving around, some defenders on the line. Snow's going to take the snap. This time he rolls out far side, launches this one. A leaping catch is made across the 25-yard line. Jamel Pittman able to make the grab. They'll spot him out of bounds at the 27, so it's a pickup of 5 yards and the completion from Snow to Pittman.
Pittman did a great job right there going up to the high point, watching it there on the replay. If he doesn't go up to that point, that ball's probably picked off. So nice job by him of extending himself there to make that catch.
3rd down and 5 coming up. They're at their own 27. They need the 32 to move the chains. They'll set it up with trips over to the near side with the ball on the far side, the far hash. Snow has Valaire to the left shoulder, moves him to the right. Snow will take the snap, fakes the handoff. Valaire, play action pass, throws it over the middle of the field, and it's incomplete. But 2 flags make it 3, come flying in as Tyler Harris was the intended receiver. He couldn't connect in on the coverage, as it looks like this call is going to go against him. Is that Darius Anderson playing the safety spot? Can't be. Those numbers are bundled together. That is actually McVeigh. McVeigh, it looks like, to be whistled with the penalty. And referee John Penn signals pass interference. This will be a spot foul since it happened within the 15-yard range.
Spot foul, first down.
So it'll be a 13-yard penalty and a first down to the 40. The crowd sees the replay and they can't stand the call. Shotgun Snow launches it near side, nearly picked off. It was McVeigh looking to atone for the previous play in the pass interference and goes off the fingertips and falls incomplete.
Nice job by him, though, going up to that highest point there, not allowing that ball to be completed because the receiver there, Pittman, again, had broke free right there. So another nice play by McVeigh.
Yeah, the post ran over the middle of the field, looked to be there, and McVeigh kind of from underneath dropped back and was able to deflect the ball away. 2nd and 10 at the 40, ball on the far hash, pistol formation, offset backs. Option to the near side, got drilled, the ball is loose, it's picked up by Valaire. Valaire has nowhere to go, and he's brought down inside the 30 to the 27-yard line. He lost 13 yards, but it was the initial hit on Snow that dislodged the ball. Timeout taken by George Ranch. Let's keep it here. Boy, what a blow by that defensive line, able to get in there, dislodge the ball, now forcing them into a 3rd and long and taking their timeout because they want the football back.
Absolutely, minute 42, a lot of time for George Ranch. We've seen it already in several plays. They're a high strike. It's a different high strike offense. It can be a run, it can be a pass, but right now they're in a good place right here. They got an opportunity to get the ball back and go down and pick up some extra points here. Plus, they get the ball the second half.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Vista Ridge just runs a draw, something safe. That way, George Ranch will have to use another timeout. Hey, fans, Texan Live is your new home for Houston High School sports. The road to state continues tomorrow with a trio of games at TexanLive.com. All our action gets started with a pregame show of Katy Still. That's at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon. A 2 o'clock kick at NRG faces Ridge Point against Cedar Park. And then the nightcap, North Shore takes on Converse Judson, which will be a rematch from a couple of years ago when Judson knocked off North Shore Mustangs. What a season it's been for North Shore. We saw them early in the year when they jumped out to that 1-2, 0-3 start, playing a murderer's row, and now they're in a state semifinal with Judson tomorrow night. 3rd and long, Snow looking to throw, throws the halfback screen to the far side. It's kind of the 25, cutting back inside is Valaire, still on his feet, and he's tackled. Was he inbounds or was he out of bounds? He was in, so the clock is rolling. George Ranch will take a timeout, we'll take it too. 1:31 left to play in the first half. 21-14, George Ranch leads, and they'll be getting the ball on the punt when we come back on Texan Live.
The evaluation process we go through with all the amateur athletes here at CES, we look to test everyone at the beginning of the training period. We then look to test every 4 to 8 weeks and also at the end of a training period. 2 reasons being, the first, that we can assess each athlete's progress over the weeks that you train with us here. The second mainly being to make comparison between athletes of different ages, sports and gender, so we can get you a good comparison of where you currently stand. There's no better way of doing that than through numbers to show how we're kind of progressing here at CES.
91 seconds remaining in the first half. It's a 21-14 lead for George Ranch. Both these teams went back and forth. Vista Ridge taking the 7-0 lead. George Ranch able to tie it up. Vista Ridge would counter. They would score to take the 14-7 lead. But George Ranch has scored 14 unanswered since. They're about to get the football back. Burt with 1:31 left, looking to pad the lead going into the locker room.
Well, and right now it's important. I mean, you know, this if you're Vista Ridge, you've got to find some way to get off a good punt here, good coverage downfield for the Rangers, and keep George Ranch from scoring. Because like I said, they will get the ball the second half to start of the third quarter.
Chambers is on to punt. He stands at his 17-yard line. High spiraling kick. Scruggs going to let this ball bounce in front of him at the 41. It hit a player. The ball is loose. And it looked like Scruggs jumped on top of it. I'm not sure who it hit. It either hit one of the up man for Vista Ridge, or it hit one of the blockers for George Ranch. As we walk on the replay, it hit a Vista Ridge player.
It actually did hit a Vista Ridge player in the hand. I thought it was a live ball there.
Now, it's going to be evident on what the referees thought, though, where they spot the football. And they got the call right. Because where it hit the up man, it hit him at the 40. The ball bounced forward and was recovered at the 35. The returning team gets the best case scenario. So since it was touched by one of the up men for Vista Ridge, they get the football at the 40. So the referees got the call on the field right. There comes the offense for George Ranch, up by 7 with 1:20. They hand it off to Anderson. He loses the ball. He gets it back. He breaks a tackle. He's dancing around at the 30, looking for the sideline, and he's tackled from behind at the 33-yard line by R.J. Phillips. He loses 7 yards.
Well, now you're in kind of an awkward position here. You want to, if you're George Ranch, think about scoring. I was a little surprised that the Rangers didn't take a timeout there because they have all 3 of them.
2nd down and 17. They fake the handoff, looking to throw. Throws over to the near sideline, and it's caught but out of bounds. Diving grab. It was a great catch by Daniel Beam. Caleb Welch in coverage. It was incomplete, out of bounds.
Well, now you're in a situation, 3rd down and 17, all 3 timeouts. 42 seconds on the clock. More than likely, Rangers are going to get the ball. Depending on what kind of punt it is, they're going to have an opportunity before they have to pick up some additional points.
3rd and 17, ball at the 33. Antonio Jackson's in the pistol with 3 receivers, 2 to the right, 1 to the near. Jackson fakes the handoff, dropping back, looking to throw. He launches it deep downfield at the 25-yard line, and it is caught inside the 20, all the way to the 15 by Joshua Scruggs.
R. Jackson will throw it 55 yards to Scruggs, and George Ranch will be in scoring position. What a throw, what a catch right there.
Scruggs going over Timmons and Welch in coverage to make the grab all the way to the 18-yard line. And a timeout taken by Vista Ridge to try to talk some defense. We'll take a break, get it all situated as well. 26 seconds left to play in the second quarter, and the Longhorns knocking on the door. 1st and 10 at the 18 when we come back on Texan Live.
Come enjoy the heart of Katy, Texas, one of the most delightful cities in the Lone Star State. The best part? It's a short drive from Houston and minutes from the Energy Corridor. With places to stay and places to play, anything you'd like to eat, and an old town charm that can't be beat. Activities and fun for the entire family. Enjoy the best of both worlds in the City of Champions, Katy, Texas. For more information, go to cityofkaty.com.
Back at NRG Stadium in Houston with Burt Brocker, I'm Jeremy Branham. 21-14 the lead for George Ranch. They lead it by 7, 26 seconds left to play. Houston High School playoffs will continue next week, and Texan Live, your home for the postseason. Get your tickets to the state championships held at NRG Stadium in Houston by following the UIL link on TexanLive.com. Then follow your team on the road to state at the home for Houston High School sports, TexanLive.com. So here comes the Longhorn offense, leading by 7 and looking for more. A long reception to Scruggs, setting him up. 1st and 10 at the 18, rolling out. Jackson lobs it to the end zone, wide open, and making the catch is Daniel Beam. There was nobody in the area, and it's an 18-yard touchdown pass from Antonio Jackson to Daniel Beam, and George Ranch adds on to the lead with 20 seconds left to play before halftime.
That's one of those balls as a receiver, you're like, I cannot drop this. There was not a man within 10 yards of him right there. And nice job by him of continuing concentration there, knowing he was that wide open and making the catch for the touchdown.
On to attempt the extra point. The kick is up. It is good. And George Ranch doubling up Vista Ridge 28-14. 20 seconds left to play before the half. We'll be right back on Texan Live.
Allspa's is so much more than Ace Hardware. Sure, we have nuts and bolts, lawn and garden, faucets and fixtures, lights and locks, even outdoor cooking. But Allspa's is also a boutique, featuring the finest names in jewelry and home accessories. But most importantly, Allspa's is a friendly, helpful family of people who take pride in their products and services. Allspa's is Ace Hardware, and so much more.
20 seconds left to play in the second quarter, 28-14. As the touchdown pass from Antonio Jackson to Daniel Beam adds to this lead for George Ranch. Our Texan Live drive summary, 4 plays, 60 yards, a minute off the clock, and a huge touchdown, Bert, right before halftime.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And, and that's the ball, too, as a quarterback there. Jackson, you see a man that wide open. Sometimes you'll throw it long or you'll short arm it, but nice job right there, just giving plenty of air underneath that ball and giving his receiver a great opportunity to make the catch here for a touchdown. But more importantly, the long strike down the field. What a nice job by Jackson of selling play action, because without doubt they probably felt like they'd run the ball there. Instead, they throw the ball deep down the middle for the big strike to set up the additional touchdown here before half.
A little squib kick right up the middle of the field, takes a nice, long, high bounce. A big blow as Jeremiah Chambers fields it and takes it across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Making the stop was David Fisher. Now 16 seconds left. They're at their own 36-yard line. I can't imagine Vista Ridge doing anything to roll of the dice.
I don't know. They're down by 2 scores. Longhorns get the ball the second half, and they do have 2 timeouts. So, your quarterback did, on the first possession on third down, throw a strike downfield. So be curious to see if they let Snow air it out or whether they'll go more in. No, they're lining up normal formations here.
And 2 receivers, bit of a heavy package, but it is Snow in the gun. And they'll send a Valaire in motion from right to left. Snow will take the snap, looking to throw. He's going to launch it deep down the middle of the field. Has a receiver. It's caught inside the 30, inside the 25, inside of the 20. He's tackled from behind at the 17-yard line. That was Cody Williams. Jason Baldridge makes the tackle from behind. Timeout. Vista Ridge will keep it here with 9 seconds left to play in the second quarter. What a play as they take it right up the seam all the way inside the George Ranch 20.
Great throw right there by Snow. He absolutely put that ball in the only place. The only person that had an opportunity to catch that ball was his receiver. And I guess they decided, we aren't getting the ball the second half. We better go down there and try to get some points before halftime.
Incredible. 46 yards on the throw from Snow to Cody Williams. Now they have it 30 seconds. Now, but how much riverboat gambler do you get now? You have 9 seconds left to play in the second quarter. Is it one throw into the end zone, then kick the field goal, or is it maybe something else?
Well, I watched a football game last night. That was the pros, and absolutely could not believe what I saw with Minnesota on third down with 13 seconds and no timeout. So, you hope the high school coach watched that and said, you know what, we're going to try one play here, and then we're going to kick the field goal and at least get some points out of this drive.
Snow now 5 of 713 yards. They fake the handoff, they fake the in around, they throw to the bubble, and it's batted away inside the 10 with 4 seconds left. Knocking it down was Mikel Onu as he was able to get the right hand on it and swat it away. Fortunate it wasn't picked off, frankly.
Yeah, because he would still be running.
Yeah, that would have been 6 the other way. So they will set up the field goal. See where they tee it up. They'll tee it up at the 23-yard line. 33-yard field goal attempt. Out of the hold of Sam Waldron. Diego Chiaramonte.
Yep, going to call it a little timeout here and ice the kicker, so.
We'll take a quick timeout. 4 seconds to play in the second quarter. Vista Ridge tries a field goal when we come back on Texan Live. At CESperformance.com for your sports performance program. CESperformance.com has multi-month memberships and team training. CESperformance.com has baseline performance testing included with every athletic development program. Schedule your athletic evaluation at CESperformance.com. There's no cost or commitment. Be prolific at CESperformance.com. 4 seconds left. We're in the first half. It's been an entertaining first half of football in this Class 5A Division I state semifinals between George Ranch and Vista Ridge. Winner faces either Aledo or Lake Ridge in the state finals next week from NRG Stadium. Vista Ridge wants to chip into the lead a little bit before halftime. They'll tee it up this time at the 24-yard line. 34-yard field goal attempt upcoming for Shiermonte. Good snap, good hold. It has plenty of distance, and it is good. Vista Ridge, Scott with the doctor orders as they drill the field goal at the end of the first half from 34 yards out to trim the lead to 28-17. Capped off a 47-yard drive that took just 16 seconds, and they make it an 11-point game at intermission. 28-17, George Ranch is in front by 11. Bert, so far your first half thoughts?
Well, I mean, both teams are high power, and it hasn't been 3 yards, 5 yards, 8 yards. You know, most of the scores tonight, even right here before the half, was a big play. And you look at the 54-yard run, you look at the 62-yard pass, and you just go through the numbers, and everything tonight has been on big plays. And I know as a defensive coordinator, you're going to be in there at halftime trying to figure out, how do we not give that up? Because right now, even though George Ranch is in a good place, up 28-17, you know, snow can get hot very, very quick and all of a sudden flip this game around. So, you know, defensively, that's going to be the key. Whoever comes out in this second half, and more importantly, for the Rangers, they're going to have to come out and find some way on that first possession to get a stop and get the ball back to their offense in snow.
Coming up in the Panera halftime show, we'll take a look at our first half stats. We'll take a look at also the Vista Ridge and George Ranch band and drill team performances. But first, a timeout. This is the Class 5A state semifinals on Texan Live, and George Ranch in front, 28-17.
Only one network is big enough to cover the great state of Texas, and only one show travels across the state to get the skinny on high school sports every week, all year long. You want the best in high school sports? Catch High School Spotlight on Fox Sports Southwest.
Download the new Fox Sports Southwest Football Friday app. Connect and get live scores statewide. Find games near you. Plus, get your photos on our Friday night show. This is the one app that can handle high school football in Texas. Hit the App Store and type Football Friday. Friday high school football isn't over till you watch High School Scoreboard live. Final scores, big plays, plus the DQ Big Game of the Week.
Be a part of the most watched high school football show in Texas.
Saturday night on Fox Sports Southwest.
At Panera, we decided a long time ago to avoid the easy road and switch to antibiotic-free chicken. That decision set a lot of things in motion. So now it's not just chickens raised this way. It's more ingredients you can trust. Which has taught us a lesson. Sometimes, what you think is the harder road turns out to be the only one worth being on. Panera Bread. Live consciously. Eat deliciously.
The Star Service Roosters would like to thank their platinum sponsors, Crossbank and Gold Salsas, and their gold sponsors, Cedar Park Emergency Center, Compton Chef Roast Bar, Tag Roofing and Exteriors, Florence Mexican Restaurant, and Anthem. For the second half of Vista Ridge halftime show, introducing 5A State Powerhouse, the Vista Ridge Ranger Band. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to the field the George Ranch High School Longhorn Band and Direction of Darren Jordan, Lisa Stiles, Tim Lyon, Randy Young, Quincy Jarman, and Beth Young. Tonight, we hope to have a little festivity to your holiday experience as we perform Christmas Parade Secrets, arranged by Paul Allen. We invite you to show your Christmas spirit and sing along to holiday favorites Joy to the World, Good Kingwood Tellus, and Hark the Herald Angels Sing. The band is under the field direction of drum majors Carol Kaufman, Sammy Nelson, and Needle Signs. Now sit back and relax as the band plays with might. Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Enjoy the show.
1-2, test.
Back at NRG Stadium in Houston alongside Burt Brocker, I'm Jeremy Branham. About set for the second half. 28-17 our halftime score as George Ranch in front. Vista Ridge got things started. A 49-yard touchdown pass from Snow to Landrum put them in front 7-0. It didn't take long, though, before Fontenot tied things up at 7 apiece. Vista Ridge was able to jump back in front. Snow had that big powering 3-yard touchdown run, put them in front 14-7. But then George Ranch was able to reel off a couple touchdowns in a row. The 75-yard long touchdown run by Darius Anderson. The 62-yard touchdown pass from Jackson to Morris. That put George Ranch up at that point 28-14 after the Jackson to Beam touchdown. But then a late field goal able to tie things up, or move it to 28-17, George Ranch in front, 28-17 at the half. Let's give you the halftime stats. Vista Ridge, 211 total yards, 98 on the ground, 113 through the air. Snow, their leading rusher, 14 carries, 47 yards and a score. Valera had 10 carries, 61 yards. Snow through the air was 5 of 8 for 113 yards and 1 touchdown. Landrum had a 48-yard touchdown catch for a touchdown. Williams had a 46-yard reception for Vista Ridge. George Ranch offensively, 367 yards, 214 on the ground, 143 through the air. They were led on the ground by Darius Anderson's 9 carries, 142 yards and a score. Jackson was 5 of 6 through the air for 2 touchdowns. And leading them in receiving was Scruggs, 2 catches, 54 yards. Morris, though, led him in yardage with a catch, 62 yards and a touchdown. George Ranch up by 11. How do they keep the lead and move on to the state championship game next week?
Well, I think the main thing is as we know, they're getting the ball here. So they need to find some way to move the ball downfield. I'd like to see them take a little time off the clock. One of the things that they do, and even last week we saw it in that game, they have these big strike plays, but as you said earlier, one was a 16-second, one was, I think, 12 seconds, and it doesn't take much time off the clock. So even though they're good, because you're going to score a lot of points, it puts your defense in a place where, as we said, how George Ranch was going to win this game today, it was real simple. They have to score on a lot of their possessions, and hopefully their defense will give them an extra 3 or 4 at the end of the night. And so far, first half, that's what they did.
Real quick, how about Vista Ridge? How do they come from behind to advance to the state championship?
Well, I think, as I said right before half, they've got to find some way here to play good defense this first possession. They got to find some way to stop George Ranch. Do not allow them to pick up the third down conversions that they did. Get them off the field, get the ball back into Snow's hands, and let him do what he does, find somebody either downfield or work it through that read option that he's really, really good at.
It'd be real nice to get a defensive stand here on the opening possession. Bryce Dahl will get set to kick it away. Anderson is back deep. So is Joshua Scruggs. Dahl is going to boot this one over the head of everybody. Scruggs makes the over-the-shoulder catch. He takes a knee, and that'll be a touchback. Ooh, that was close. He almost caught that ball out of the end zone, but he was just barely in the end zone when he called it for a touchback.
Well, the thing is, his momentum carried him in there, and that's the thing about high school. That's what we talked about earlier on that other kickoff that Vista Ridge had. He actually touched the ball around the 7-yard line. Ball went in the end zone. Instead of just taking a knee, ball coming out 25, he went ahead and tried to return it and only got it ball out back out to the 15. So, again, nice job there of knowing where you're at, taking a knee and giving your offense their first possession start at 25-yard line.
Winner of this one gets Aledo and Lake Ridge. Aledo, the powerhouse in Class 5A. They won 5 of 6 state championships. And how about this? They trail Lake Ridge at halftime 28-7. So here comes out George Ranch leading by 11, start of the third quarter. First and 10 at their own 25 and motion up front. Not the way you would like to start off a half.
Well, no, and that was one of the things George Ranch had not done last week. Their offense had a lot of tic-tac careless penalties, and that's on first downs. And then you back up. Now you're first and 15. So a 5-yard gain that would have you in second and short now has you in a second and 10. So, you know, I guarantee you, Coach Tullis, that's going to drive him crazy. That's not what he wanted to see.
Jake Gore, the right guard, picks up the penalty. Backs him up 5 yards, first and 15 now at their own 20-yard line. Shotgun formation for Jackson. They move Scruggs in motion right to left. Option to the left side, pitch to Anderson. Anderson hesitates, looks for the sideline, and he just tucks it out of bounds. Near the 25, he's forced out of bounds at the 23, 24. Casey Watson forced him out of bounds. They were spotted at the 24, so it's a pickup of 4 yards.
Well, what a surprise we have in 6A tonight. Westlake is up 16-0 over Allen. And I don't remember the last time Allen lost the ball game.
Handoff, Anderson. Anderson sweeping right, cuts it back to the middle, looks for the far sideline. He might have it. 40, 50, 40, 30, and he's gone. 20, 10, and Darius Anderson is into the end zone from 76 yards away. There's a penalty marker down at the 48-yard line.
Let's see what that is. If it's a spot foul, it still would be a first down.
Yeah, it would.
Personal foul.
Interesting.
Wow.
So that wipes the touchdown off the board. The flag is right now at the 48-yard line.
So it actually would, if 15 yards, would not give them a first down.
So they're going to mark it off from the 48. I didn't hear what the... And now Ricky Toulos is getting an explanation from one of the officials.
Yeah, you know Tullis is super frustrated about that.
Personal foul. Number 78, offense. 15-yard penalty for the spot foul.
It's on Austin Price, the left tackle, so you back him up from the 48 to the 33-yard line. So it's still a gain of 9 yards by Darius Anderson on the play. It'll remain second down, but you wipe off the 76-yard touchdown. I would have liked to see what happened.
Well, that's a nice part about Texan Live. You can go back and rewatch it after the game tonight.
2nd and 2. The handoff up the middle. First down and more. They might just do it again. He's at the 45 into Vista Ridge territory as Fontenot takes it right up the middle to the 44-yard line. It's a gain of 23 and a first down. You're always selling, huh?
Yeah, always. Gotta be.
So a first down into Vista Ridge territory. As we're under 11.5 to play in the third. Just getting underway second half. 28-17, Longhorns beating the Rangers. As they're into Ranger territory. Anderson, by the way, 11 carries, 155 yards. Fontenot has 8 carries, 93 yards. Handoff, Fontenot running right, gets it to the 40. He's tackled from behind across the 40-yard line to the 39. Near the numbers over to the near side. R.J. Phillips making the stop for the Rangers. It's a pickup to the 39 of 5.
Fontenot's only a junior, so he will be back next year. So as good a running back as Anderson is, and there's no doubt, anytime you're coming out of 5A ball going to University of Missouri, you know you're a good athlete. Fontenot runs hard and clearly shows he has a burst himself.
They'll have Jackson, the quarterback, too. Handoff Fontenot up the middle. Fontenot looking for room. He's driven backwards. He tried to spin away. Can't, as he's tackled at the 37-yard line. Gets forward progress for a pickup of 2 before Cole Patterson drives him backwards.
Big boy Christian Boyd was in there also. You know, this right here, this is we talked about it before this second half started. This is a big down right here for the Rangers. They need to get a stop here.
George Ranch tonight, 4 for 5 on third downs. It's 3rd and 3 at the 37-yard line of Vista Ridge. Handoff, Fontenot up the middle across the 35-yard line. Looks like he's shy of the 34. He'll be just short of the first down. He'll need about a foot or two. About a foot or two shy. We'll have to call it the 35-yard line officially as Wesley Goldwater makes the stop. They're going to bring the chain gang on. They needed the 34 for the first down. The ball is off the 35-yard line, and it's right in between the 35 and the 34. So if he doesn't get the first down, you can't give him the 34-yard line. And they're going to bring the chain gang on to see if they can give him a first down and move the chains.
Well, and one of the things right there is, I think Coach Tullis actually called for that measurement because they had made a substitution, so they were going to have to allow the defense, and the 25-second clock was at 11, so anytime a coach, when it's close, can ask for a measurement. And he is barely short there.
Inches shy. So it's a pickup of 2 yards on the run. It'll be a 4th and 1 coming up. That's about as close as you can get without getting the first down. Fans, make sure to log on to TexanLive.com to vote for the Player of the Year in the city of Houston. The voting will close next weekend, so make sure to cast your vote today at TexanLive.com, your home for high school sports. They're going to go for it. 4th and inches from the 35. George Ranch leading by 11, looking to add to the lead as they'll come out with a heavy package. It's Jackson under center. Jackson sneaks it up the middle, and he has it by a couple of yards. He got the nose of the football all the way to the 32. It goes as a gain of 3 and another first down for the Longhorns.
Nice job by Jackson there, getting up on the back hip of his big lineman there. But more importantly, after first contact there, picking up the first down.
They go quick. Jackson hands it off. It's Fontenot running near side. It's Anderson across the 30, trying to cut back inside, cannot. He gets it to the 28-yard line before Wesley Goldwater makes the stop. It's a 4-yard gain for Anderson. With Fontenot coming back, they're very similar in stature. about the same size. They weigh both 185 pounds. Anderson has an inch on Fontenot. Anderson at 5'11", Fontenot's 5'10". But they run with the same sort of vigor. Handoff, Anderson was looking to go outside, cuts it back inside. He runs into a wall as he couldn't get it by Jeremiah Chambers.
And Crispin Boyd there.
Loses a yard, back to the 29. We'll set up a 3rd down and 6. You wanted George Ranch. You said one of the keys or one of the things you would like to see is for them to use some clock, especially on this opening drive. And this one already is approaching 4 minutes on the opening drive of the second half. 3rd down and 7 at the 29-yard line. Throwing to the near side. Scruggs the diving catch at the 20. If it holds, it'll be a 1st down. It will. What a catch by Joshua Scruggs.
Well, and that ball was released before he ever broke right there. That's a back shoulder throw right there. And what a nice job of those two being on the same page. And Jackson put it exactly where you have to, where your receiver's the only one that can catch it.
Dalton McKay on coverage. It goes for a 9-yard pickup. Handoff on the draw. Anderson up the middle to the 15, running over defenders, and a flag flies for the back judge as they get the ball to the 12-yard line. It's a pickup of 8. Jay Mobley made the tackle, but we need to check the marker. Anderson, the way he shifts from left to right, makes it look so easy.
Once again, another penalty here. That's the 3rd one on this drive. One's already taken a touchdown off the board. Coach Tullis will not be happy about that.
15 offense.
That came from the edge. That's Broderick Thompson. That's a spot foul, so let's see where they mark it off from. It's one of my favorite chants in all sports. So they're going to put the football at the 23-yard line. So a spot foul that must have happened at the 13. So you have to give them the yards to the 13-yard line, which would be a gain of 7. Penalty yards back them up 10 to their own 23 as they run the play action. Jackson looking to throw, pressure from behind, and he's brought down at the 35. He was sacked from behind by the senior outside linebacker, Jeremiah Chambers, for a loss of 12.
Well, and Chambers coming from that backside. Jackson very fortunate he didn't fumble that ball right there.
But 2nd down and a mile. They need Kirby for the 1st down. 2nd and 25 at the 35-yard line. 7 minutes, though, as they use up more than 5 minutes on this opening drive, still counting. They motion Scruggs right to left. They hand it off on the draw across the 30. Hackled from behind inside the 25 to the 23-yard line goes Fontenot. He's tackled from behind by R.J. Phillips. It's a pickup of 12, so they get the yard. They just lost on the sack.
Well, and again, you see Fontenot there probably picking up 4 yards after contact. Nice job breaking a tackle.
It's amazing how Anderson and Fontenot both just had that knack for falling forward and getting a couple more yards. Each time they get tackled. 3rd down and 13. The ball is at the Vista Ridge 23-yard line. Scruggs in motion right to left. Handed off on the draw. It's Fontenot up the middle. Fontenot not much room to work. He gets it to the 21-yard line. He picks up a pair before Brendan Chance, the senior, bringing him down.
From right there, it'd be a 38-yard field goal for the freshman.
There's no question about it. They're leaving the offense on the field. They never budged. They're 1 for 1 on 4th downs. They picked up a 4th down conversion earlier on this drive on a quarterback sneak by Antonio Jackson. They're not doing that on 4th and 11. They're taking their time, though, as the play clock is at 12. Still no motion as they're still huddled up, and they're going to take this one all the way down to about a second on the play clock and then take the timeout as Tullis is next to the line judge at the 22-yard line on the near side of the field. He does just that. We'll take the timeout too. 5:29. It's been a 6.5-minute drive so far on the opening possession for George Ranch, looking to end it with a score. 4th and 11 coming up. George Ranch leads at 28-17 on Texan Live.
The body is incredibly powerful. It's nimble and fluid. But sometimes we push it too far. That's when you need the strength of Memorial Hermann and our body of affiliated orthopedic specialists. With our Iron Man Sports Medicine Institute, they not only get your body back to where it was, they get it to go further. It's what makes us more than just hospitals. We are a body of experts. Memorial Hermann, advancing health.
Back in NRG Stadium in Houston, 5:29 left to play in the third quarter. It's a 28-17 lead. George Ranch is up by 11, but now facing a 4th down and 11. They're at the Vista Ridge 21-yard line. Looks like they're going for it. And so far, they've been pretty good in these type of situations, whether it's, in this case, 4th and long, first time they've been in this spot, but they've been very good picking up 3rd down and longs tonight.
Well, I mean, there's so many options with this offense right here. George Ranch right now, though, and I don't know that you went through it, 300 yards on the ground, 162 in the air, 462 yards and 15 first downs. That's just unbelievable. And we are only 7 minutes into this third quarter.
Westlake, you mentioned earlier, they lead Allen 23-3 Class 6A. I mentioned earlier at the half, Lake Ridge leading Aledo pretty big. Here we go, 4th down and 11, ball at the 21-yard line, 5:29 left to play in quarter number 3. Antonio Jackson of the gun, fakes the handoff to Anderson. Here comes the blitz, rolling out of the pocket. Jackson just launches it into the end zone, incomplete. Beam is down at the 10. The coaching staff for George Ranch is yelling for a penalty, and the line judge on the near side said that ball was uncatchable, cannot throw the flag, and Vista Ridge turns him over on downs. Caleb Welch with the coverage deep down the field on Beam.
And that ball was well out of bounds there, so good no call by the officiating crew right there.
So Vista Ridge, they got what they wanted. They got a stop on the opening possession of the second half. The problem was there's only 5:22 left to play in the third quarter. While it did not end in points for George Ranch, still an effective drive, Burt, because they used so much clock.
Absolutely. But the Rangers are one play away from being right back in this ball game.
Shotgun formation, Snow. They motion Cody Williams out of the backfield to the line. Now they'll move Valaire in motion. They'll run the option to the right. Snow's going to throw it deep down the right hash behind the receiver. Flag flies. It was intended for Tyler Harris. They faked the option to the right side. Snow threw it down the hash to Tyler Harris, and the flag flies in. Jason Baldridge was in coverage of Harris, and he's the one that has seemed to make contact as the flag is down at the 45-yard line in George Ranch territory.
Well, in high school football, you know that's only going to be a 15-yard penalty. Of course, the George Ranch players are pointing up at the big screen here at NRG, but, you know, it's just one of those deals. He made contact.
What's really irritating George Ranch, and mostly their fans, there really hasn't been any argument on this call from the coaching staff. They know that there was a good call and the right call. The fans are upset. The reason the fans are upset more likely than anything else is because they didn't get the call when they had the football on the 4th down play. 1st and 10. At their own 36-yard line, they went quick to the line, but now they're going to slow it down, back away, and change the play at the line of scrimmage. Snow over the line, sending in the play. Play clock down to 4. Snow takes the snap, hands it off. Valaire running it over to the near side, try to cut it back in. A flag comes back onto the field from the field judge, way from the back. And looks like this one's going to go against Vista Ridge. He got it to the 36-yard line, and as it stands right now, probably no gain. Jerron McVeigh with the stop, but there is a penalty down, and it looks like it's going to go against Vista Ridge, and the George Ranch will accept.
Yeah, it was out there on the outside. Looked like number 72 may have grabbed somebody there.
24.
No, it's actually number 24.
I'd like to thank everybody who's watching, wherever you may be watching. Got a very high number of viewers watching us at TexanLive.com. I want to thank each and every one of you for your support of the Class 5A semifinals on Texan Live. As George Ranch leading Vista Ridge 28-17. We'll be back tomorrow with a doubleheader here at NRG. We hope you'll tune in at TexanLive.com tomorrow as well. Matt Snow dropping back. He's going to launch this one deep down the middle of the field, and it's in and out of the hands of Jamel Pittman. Pittman got a finger on it as he made a diving effort. It was pretty miraculous that he even got a hand on it as Jason Baldridge in coverage of Pittman.
But Pittman again went up to the highest point right there and almost pulled that ball in.
Yeah, that would have been a heck of a grab had he pulled it in. 2nd down and 20, ball at the own 26-yard line for the Rangers. 28-17 lead for George Ranch. Shotgun formation for Snow. Snow will have 3 receivers, 2 to the near side. He has Valaire to the right side of the backfield. Now they move in motion to the far side. Looking to throw Snow. He'll throw this one deep, and that one's not even close. He was looking for Tyler Harris. Not anywhere near the vicinity of the pass, as in coverage was Jason Baldridge.
Yeah, but that was all about the pressure right there up the middle. Snow had to release that ball way before he wanted to. So here we go. We got 3rd and we'll call it 20. So this right here, George Ranch has got to find some way to not give up that big play here and get the ball back here for their offense.
Vista Ridge 4 for 7 on 3rd downs, but this is the longest one they face. They bring blitz. It's picked up nicely. Snow rolling out near side. He's launching it deep down the near sideline, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Ryan Landrum, who we found earlier, for a touchdown. McVeigh was able to break it up. McVeigh had a way better chance of making that grab than Ryan Landrum did.
Well, but McVeigh showed his speed right there, because he come all the way over from center field on that ball to almost coming down with the interception.
On to punt it away. Jeremiah Chambers back deep to return for George Ranch's Joshua Scruggs as he stands at his 40. Inside his 15-yard line is Chambers. It's interesting, too. They have Snow as kind of the up guy, the blocker. Chambers drills this football over the head of Scruggs. It takes a backwards bounce, though, at the 25-yard line, and then it's down right around the 25-yard line. As downing that one was Kyle Armstrong, a senior linebacker. 4:24 to play in the 3rd quarter, and so far it's been a success in the 3rd quarter for George Ranch. Yeah, that first possession didn't end in points, but you used a lot of the clock, and now on the first possession for Vista Ridge, you forced them to punt.
Well, when we talk about penalties, you got to look at on George Ranch. They're moving ball down the field.
Regional final.
Had the
first time
holding call, backed them up 10, put them in a bad situation. Same thing there. Vista Ridge had a little momentum going in their favor, then had a holding penalty, and it just penalties at this stage in the game when you're playing for state championship next weekend. Hate to see mistakes like that.
Shotgun formation, they hand it off. I believe that's Anderson who got the carry. It is Anderson. Anderson takes it up the middle, and he gets 3 yards to the 28. 2 yards to the 28. Jeremiah Chambers with the tackle. And you can tell the George Ranch starting to take the air out of the football a little bit. Taking the time, really, from the coaching staff on the near sideline, sending the play in. They're waiting till it gets under 20 seconds on the play clock before they send the play in. And they get to the line now with 10 on the play clock. Jackson will send Scruggs in motion right to left. They hand it off to Scruggs in the end around. Scruggs looking for the sideline, gets the block from Anderson and out front. Takes it across the 35-yard line near the first down marker, but a flag flies in at the 28. R.J. Phillips shoving him out of bounds. Check the penalty marker. This will go against George Ranch. It's right down at the line of scrimmage, so they should back him up to the 18.
Holding offense, number 34, 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
That was on Zach Losky, senior fullback.
First 3 possessions, both teams, or all 3 of the drives so far have had big holding calls in them to put the offenses in a bad place.
Penalty for George Ranch is their 11th penalty of the night for 103 yards. Second down and 17, handoff end around. Scruggs again. Scruggs looking for some room, breaks a tackle across the 25, cut it back inside, and gets tripped up near the 25, nearly escaped all of the traffic from Vista Ridge. R.J. Phillips with the stop. That's some shiftiness by Joshua Scruggs, the senior, as he gains yardage to the 25-yard line, a pickup of 6.
Going to bring up a 3rd down and 11 here, so this is again where the Rangers defense needs to find some way to get a stop and give their offense the ball back for Snow.
Under 3 minutes left to play in the 3rd quarter. They'll move the tight end to the near side. They move Anderson to the left shoulder. Scruggs in motion. Handoff Anderson. Runs it near side looking for a hole. Cuts it inside of the 25, 30. Spins away at the 35, 40. He's across the near sideline to the 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Darius Anderson. How did he do that? 75 yards away, and Darius Anderson takes it into the end zone for a score.
Well, he broke 5 tackles, then made a cut move back to the outside, and then outran everybody to the pylon. And that's just as simplistic as it gets. That young man right there clearly shows how great a running back he's going to be and how lucky Missouri is to have him on the way there.
34-17. First score of the second half. Extra point on its way. It is good. And Darius Anderson, 75 yards out. And George Ranch in front by 18 points with 2:29 to play in the third quarter. It's 35-17. And watching the Class 5A semifinals on Texan Live.
Allspa's is so much more than Ace Hardware. Sure, we have nuts and bolts, lawn and garden, faucets and fixtures, lights and locks, even outdoor cooking. But Allspa's is also a boutique featuring the finest names in jewelry and home accessories. But most importantly, Allspa's is a friendly, helpful family of people who take pride in their products and services. Allspa's is Ace Hardware, and so much more.
Welcome you back to NRG Stadium in Houston with Bert Brocker. I'm Jeremy Branham. 3 plays, 74 yards, a minute 55 off the latest Texan Live Drive summary. Darius Anderson has his second touchdown run of the night as he caps off the drive on a 75-yard run. That puts George Ranch in front 35-17. Anderson now, Bert, 16 carries, 243 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You say he's going to be good. He's going to be a good back. He's a good back now.
Exactly.
How about Fontenot, too? 13 carries, 116 yards. They have 2 backs over 100 yards.
Lakeridge up 28-7 over Aledo right now in the third quarter.
Jamel Pittman, Tyler Harris back deep to return the kick from Aaron McKell. Eric kicks it high. We fit it at the 11-yard line, across the 15, looking for the middle of the field. 20 gets hit from behind, tackled around the 25, 26-yard line. As Jamel Pittman got hit on that left shoulder, and it sent him flying. Gets the return to the 26, and that's where Vista Ridge will start the drive. We'll take a break. 2:24 left to play in the third quarter, back at 30 seconds. George Ranch in front, 35-17 on Texan Live.
The body is incredibly powerful. It's nimble and fluid. But sometimes we push it too far. That's when you need the strength of Memorial Hermann and our body of affiliated orthopedic specialists. With our Ironman Sports Medicine Institute, they not only get your body back to where it was, they get it to go further. It's what makes us more than just hospitals. We are a body of experts. Memorial Hermann, advancing health.
At Cavender's, we don't just wear the West.
2:24 all that's left in the third quarter. 35-17 George Ranch lead. Vista Ridge trying to respond after Darius Anderson's latest 75-yard touchdown run. He had 2 75-yard touchdown runs tonight. Don't forget he had a 74-yard one called back. Motion man now for Vista Ridge. They'll hand it off on the draw, cutting to the near side across the 30. Back inside of the 35-yard line goes Bryce Dahl as Dahl takes it to the 36. It's going to be very close to the marker. Actually, you can't give him the 36 because they're not giving him the first down. So gain of 9 to the 35-yard line. Tackle made by Christian Novosad. So second down and short. The 35. They hand it off. It's Valaire. Valaire running right, spins off a man, trying to do his best Darius Anderson impersonation across the 40, dragging tacklers down from behind on the far sideline to the 44. He gets 9 yards on the play. Christian Novosad on the stop. Also, Toby Nadukwe making the tackle as well. 9-yard pickup by Valaire, but they're doing it on the ground. They're using some of this clock, which is now under a minute 45. 35-17, George Ranch lead. Motion man now from far side to near side is Dominguez. Snow's going to take the snap, keeps it himself, sweeps it left. Snow nowhere to run, trying to dive back forward, and he dives into the 45-yard line for a pickup of 1. McVeigh had him bottled up. Second down and 9 coming up after just the modest 1-yard gain by Snow. Snow came into this game 2,329 yards on the year. Handoff Valaire. Valaire sweeping right, cutting back inside, looking for some room. There's nothing there as George Ranch doing a great job of forcing him outside. He tried to cut back in, looking for some wiggle room. There was nothing there and not much to gain for Valaire. Novosad again on the stop, sorry.
Now with 48 seconds to go here, you got to believe, you know, are you in 4-down territory here, down by 18?
Gain of a yard, 3rd down and 8. 40 seconds to play in the third. Fire to the near side of the slant, and he underthrows Cody Williams. He looked for Williams in the near slant on the near numbers. Underthrew him. Adam Beck was in coverage, but it was more the underthrow of Snow than the coverage of Beck. They're going to bring the punt team on, down by 18 with 36 seconds to play in the third.
There was a little hesitation there.
Jeremiah Chambers will kick it away. Man coming on late to that punt team as well. There's nobody back deep for George Ranch. They're going to fake it. They snap it to Snow. Snow running to the near side. He's going to throw it to Chambers. Chambers makes the catch, and he's free across the 40 and tackled from behind at the 30-yard line. It was an option punt fake. Adam Beck the tackle from behind. Wow.
Pittman made a one-handed catch there, though, to keep that play alive, and then almost outran everybody to the house.
24-yard rush by Chambers, the punter, who's a heck of a linebacker, heck of an athlete, and he picks up the first down to the 30.
And that's got to be very frustrating if you're the Longhorns, because they didn't have a man back there. They were ready for the fake punt.
Everybody bunched up. Snow in the gun. Snow hands it off Harris. Harris, the end around to the right side, looking for the corner. Takes it to the 35-25, or 30 to the 25, tiptoeing the sideline on the far side, and he stepped out of bounds. They're going to say at the 24 for a gain of 6. Forced out of bounds by Dawson Hawkins. Clock stops with 4 seconds to play in the third quarter. Looking over to the sideline, far side. Empty backfield for Snow. Snow takes the snap up the middle, keeps it himself. Snow trying to run backwards for the first down. He's going to stop just shy by Christian Novosad, but he gets it to the 21-yard line for a pickup of 3, and that'll do it for the third quarter. So 3 quarters are in the books. One of these teams will punch their first ever ticket to the state championship next week. And right now, George Ranch has a commanding lead, 35-17. The fourth and final quarter of the state semifinals comes your way next on Texan Live.
Only one network is big enough to cover the great state of Texas, and only one show travels across the state to get the skinny on high school sports every week, all year long. You want the best in high school sports? Catch High School Spotlight on Fox Sports Southwest.
Download the new Fox Sports Southwest Football Friday app. Connect and get live scores statewide. Find games near you. Plus, get your photos on our Friday night show. This is the one app that can handle high school football in Texas. Hit the App Store and type Football Friday. Friday high school football isn't over till you watch High School Scoreboard live. Final scores, big plays, plus the DQ Big Game of the Week.
Be a part of the most watched high school football show in Texas.
Saturday night on Fox Sports Southwest.
We're through 3 quarters in NRG Stadium in the Class 5A Division I state semifinals. George Ranch leads at 35-17. 3rd down and 2 at the 22. Snow keeping it himself, and he's hitting the backfield and dropped for a loss. Brent Ugo comes from that linebacker spot, and he says there won't be any snow in December as he brings him down for a loss of 3.
What a big play right there, because now instead of 3rd and 2, now you've got 4th and a long 4 here, so it's real simple. You have to get a first down here.
4th and 4, ball at the 24. They'll go for it, clock ticking, under 11 and a half to play in the 4th. They need the 20 for the first down. Snow is in the gun. He has Dahl to his left shoulder. Takes the snap, fires left, it tipped in the air, and it's batted away. Dawson to Hawkins, tipped it away, ricocheted to the turf, incomplete. And George Ranch turns Vista Ridge over on downs and will have the football with 11:18 left to play in the fourth. What a play by Dawson Hawkins.
And once the ball's tipped, then it makes no potential pass interference there because they were the fans over there, but at the end of the day, the ball was tipped up in the air. So great job defensively right there of the Longhorns getting off the field here and giving the ball back to their offense.
Yeah, that's an excellent point on your part. As soon as that ball was tipped, the defender can do whatever he wants with the receiver within the rules. So you can hit him around, he can tackle him if he wants. And some of the coaching staff over there on Vista Ridge maybe didn't see the tip, but they were asking for the penalty. So up by 18, George Ranch will have the football. They flip the line. Motion man Scruggs. Handoff Fontenot. Fontenot running right. Gets a hole across the 30. Almost had the ball stripped away from behind as he takes it to the 35-yard line. It's a pickup of 11 and a George Ranch first down. Caleb Welch in on the stop and also R.J. Phillips helping him bring down Fontenot after the gain of 11. They'll eat on this clock a little bit as they milk it down. Again, they send the play in with 10, or 20 rather. They start walking to the line with about 10. 375 rushing yards for George Ranch tonight. 537 total yards. Jackson sends his tight end in motion from right to left. They hand it off Fontenot. Fontenot off tackle right across the 40. Sidesteps a man at 50. He's into Vista Ridge territory across the 40, 35, far sideline, and he's ripped down near the 30-yard line by Caleb Welch. They'll give him the 30-yard line. It's a pickup of 36 yards. What a run by Fontenot. So 10:31 left to play in the fourth quarter. We'll step away. 35-17, George Ranch leads it as you watch the Class 5A state semifinal on Texan Live.
The body is incredibly powerful. It's nimble and fluid. But sometimes we push it too far. That's when you need the strength of Memorial Hermann and our body of affiliated orthopedic specialists. With our Ironman Sports Medicine Institute, they not only get your body back to where it was, they get it to go further. It's what makes us more than just hospitals. We are a body of experts. Memorial Hermann, advancing health.
Cerna is a local family-owned business located right on Will Clayton and a one-stop shop for your home, auto, liability, and business insurance needs. Please stop in or give us a call at 281-812-9775. We're also proud to support all of the Humble ISD athletes.
Back in NRG Stadium in Houston with Burt Brocker, the whole crew out tonight. 10:31 left to play in the fourth quarter. Trey Matula directing, Miranda Bain, Jesse Wolf, Brandon Miner on the cameras. Statistician Taylor Maddox.
Mark Johnson
doing the spotting tonight. Got the full crew out. Jessica Stevens tweeting away. First down and 10. Handoff on the in around. It goes to Beam. Beam running in near side to the 30. Cuts it back inside 25, and he's hit hard around the 25-yard line. Cole Patterson, the linebacker, making the stop to the 24. It's a pickup of 6 on the end around to Beam. 10-10 and counting, quarter number 4. George Ranch taking the air out of the football. They've controlled the time of possession here in the second half. Walk to the line, look over, get the play. Under 10 minutes now. Vista Ridge, the most yards they've given up this season, 592 to Vandegrift. Right now, George Ranch at 579. Handoff Anderson. Anderson running right, looking for a hole. Cuts it back inside. Breaks a tackle. Still on his feet across the 20 and is now brought down at the 18. A pickup of 6 and a Longhorn first down. Parker Stallings the stop.
So that'll take another 2.5, 3 minutes off the clock there. Right now, we'll be well under 9.5 to go at the snap of this one.
Most rushing yards they've given up this year. Vista Ridge was 387 to Cedar Park, who will be playing in one of the other state semifinals tomorrow. George Ranch has surpassed that, 423. A run the option to the right side. Good catch by Anderson. He's a blocker in front. Looking for the sideline. 15-10. He'll cut it back inside. Juke step to the right. And he's tackled out of bounds near the 5-yard line. It was Jeremiah Chambers with the touchdown saving tackle at the 4. A pickup of 14 yards. Texan Live, 3 games tomorrow. Audio of Katy Cibolo Still, 1:30 pregame. 2 o'clock kick between Cedar Park and Ridgepoint. And then the nightcap, North Shore faces Converse Judson at 5. Catch all the action at TexanLive.com. First and goal, 8:50 and counting. 35-17, Longhorns lead the Rangers. Big, heavy package in the backfield. Turning, handing it off, running to the right side, looking for the end zone, and he stopped just shy. He got to the 1-yard line on the carry. That was Scruggs. Scruggs got the carry in the backfield, and he was brought down by a couple of Rangers. Zach Bryant, the senior linebacker, also Jay Mobley, the senior defensive back. Pickup of 3 to the 1. Taking their time, second and goal from the 1-yard line, leading 35-17. George Ranch team under the direction of Ricky Tullis, who's in his 4th year at George Ranch. He's been with them the whole way. 4th year as a varsity program. He's 44-8 is Ricky Tullis in his tenure with the Longhorns. Handoff, backfield, looking for the end zone. Is he in? He's just shy. Tried to reach the football over at the last moment. Couldn't quite get it in. As running it over to the near side, off tackle left was Fontenot, and Zach Bryant again with a big tackle. No gain.
Well, he's about a football out there from being a touchdown, so they're actually going to give him about a half a yard right there. So 3rd down and goal from about 6 inches out.
You know, if he scores here, if they score on either this down or the next down, it just allows them to eat more time. That's the glass half full approach. They'll go with 3 backs in the backfield. Jackson keeps it himself on the sneak, and he dives into the end zone. Antonio Jackson, the sneak from 1 yard away. He scores, and George Ranch now leads it 41-17, and flags fly after the play. That's Jackson's 3rd total touchdown of the game. He has 2 through the air. That's his first rushing touchdown of the night, and George Ranch has opened it open, 41-17.
After the play, partial foul. On the offense, touchdown is good. The penalty being forced. Kickoff.
After the touchdown, the score 41-17.
They'll come on for the extra point. There's no holder on the field. The holder is nowhere to be found, and now here comes Zach Hutton with 13 on the play clock. Actually, George Ranch will take the timeout. We'll take it too. 7:09 left to play in the 4th quarter. Back with the extra point. George Ranch leads at 41-17 on Texan Live. .09 left to play in the 4th quarter. George Ranch taking the timeout because the holder didn't come on the field. When you're up 41-17, those things don't seem to matter as much as they would if you were in a tight game or losing perhaps. Left-footed freshman kicker. Good snap, good hold. The kick is drilled on through. And it's George Ranch leading 42-17. 7:09 left to play in the 4th quarter. This is the Class 5A state semifinals on Texan Live.
Allspa's is so much more than Ace Hardware. Sure, we have nuts and bolts, lawn and garden, faucets and fixtures, lights and locks, even outdoor cooking. But Allspa's is also a boutique, featuring the finest names in jewelry and home accessories. But most importantly, All Spas is a friendly, helpful family of people who take pride in their products and services. All Spas is Ace Hardware, and so much more.
7:09 left to play in the fourth quarter. It's all George Ranch in the second half. They lead it now 42-17. They led it 28-17 at the half. The only 2 touchdowns in the second half coming by George Ranch. The latest, a 1-yard touchdown run by Antonio Jackson, capping off an 8-play, 76-yard drive using up 4:09 off the clock. 42-17 our new score. And that's probably the one that you're circling the most, Bert. 4:09 off the clock.
Exactly. And, you know, in Vista Ridge, the Rangers come out here and did exactly what they were supposed to. They gave up a long touchdown. There was a penalty. They managed to not allow George Ranch to score, so they had an opportunity to go down and make this a 4-point ball game. Instead, they had a penalty, backed them up 2nd and 20, and ended up having to punt. And since then, this George Ranch, I mean, it's just amazing the burst that these running backs have in their two-punch or two-headed monsters that they have with Fontenot and Anderson. I mean, it's just unbelievable how fast they are.
They'll try to cap it off. They'll try to finish the job tonight. They look like they're going to do just that. 42-17 the score. And now they'll await the winner of Aledo and Lake Ridge, who are currently in action. Last we saw, Lake Ridge was up at the half. As this kick is booted away, it's caught at the 18-yard line. Across the 25 to the 30 goes Valaire. Valaire looks for the far sideline to the 40, 45, and he's forced out of bounds near midfield across the 50. Nice run by Valaire as he gives Vista Ridge nice field position near midfield.
Well, and that's where that personal foul is such a big thing, because even though that was a good kick, there's just no coverage on a line drive kick like that. And managed to find that outside edge and return the ball right there just inside of midfield on the 49-yard line of the Longhorns.
Kyle Onu was able to force him out of bounds at the 49 in George Ranch territory. So here comes the Vista Ridge offense, trying to make things interesting here in the fourth quarter with 7:01 left to play. 42-17 our score. Halfback throwback. They're looking deep downfield, looking for the end zone, and it's caught and in and out of the hands. It was dropped by Ryan Landrum, and he had his second touchdown of the night if he could just hang on. There's a flag down at the 45-yard line. Let's check the flag before we do anything else. 6:52 left to play in the fourth quarter. Let's see what the flag is as the referees gather, as they have a quick conversation. As the referees gather and figure it out, we'll gather and figure it out as well. Let you know the penalty was when we come back. 6:52 to play in the fourth quarter. Longhorns in front 42-17.
The evaluation process we go through with all the amateur athletes here at CES, we look to test everyone at the beginning of the training period. We then look to test every 4 to 8 weeks and also at the end of a training period. 2 reasons being, the first, that we can assess each athlete's progress over the weeks that you train with us here. The second mainly being to make comparison between athletes of different ages, sports and gender, so we can get you a good comparison of where you currently stand. There's no better way of doing that than through numbers to show how we're kind of progressing here at CES.
Welcome back to NRG Stadium in Houston. 42-17 our score with Bert Brocker. I'm Jeremy Branham. George Ranch in front 42-17 in this Class 5A state semifinal. It's been all George Ranch in the second half. They've had a plan and they've executed the plan to perfection. Westlake leads Allen in Class 6A 23-3. Still searching for some other scores around state. Back to the action. They waved the penalty off, by the way, as we were in break. Here's Snow in the gun. Snow dropping back, looking to throw. He's going to launch it deep down the near sideline. He was looking for Dahl. Dahl was nowhere in the area. Adam Beck, the nearest player in the area, and he's the George Ranch safety.
Yeah, Dahl clearly broke his route off there, and you know that was a ball where Snow had pressure in his face. He just had to release that.
Lake Ridge able to get into the end zone, and now they lead 35-14 over Aledo. It's looking more and more evident that it's going to be Lake Ridge and George Ranch in the Class 5A Division I finals next week. Handoff, Allaire. He spins off a defender. He's dragging defenders down with him across the 40 to the 37-yard line. It's a pickup of 12 yards for Isaiah Valera. I spotted at the 37, pickup of 12.
Well, it went final. Franklin beat East Bernard, and what a run East Bernard had. They got beat 10-7 tonight, so, but a great job by East Bernard and a great run here this year in the playoffs.
Dropping back, Snow fires it far side, caught inside the 30-yard line of the 28. That's Cody Williams, who gets stopped right at the 28-yard line. No yards after that catch, but he picks up to the 28-yard line, 9 yards. Second down and 1, 6 minutes left to play in the fourth. A 42-17 lead. Three receivers over to the near side. Fakes the handoff, looking to throw. Snow now rolls out to the near side. Snow's going to launch it deep towards the end zone. Diving effort by Pittman, but he can't quit to the ball. Actually, it was Pittman who tried to make that diving grab. Couldn't quite catch it in. It was actually batted away, too, in the end zone. Nice coverage by Adam Beck, the junior. Adam Beck in coverage as well, Mikhail Anu. Third down and 2, ball at the 28, clock stopped at 5:39 left. Shotgun Snow, draw up the middle, has the first down, look to spin it outside, he can't, as he was being tackled by his shoestring. To the 26, pick up a 2.
Come real close there to back it up. You said first down, and then he spun backwards there.
First down and 10, ball at the 26. Motion man trips over to the near side. Snow's going to roll out, throw. It's caught at the 22-yard line to the 20, across the 15, and having his feet taken out from underneath him to the 14-yard line is Tyler Harris. Adam Beck with the tackle. Pick up a 12. Shotgun, 4 receivers set. Pittman in motion from right to left. Rolls out to the left side looking to throw. Throws it to Pittman. It's off his hands and picked off from behind. Running it back the other way is Onu, and Onu shoved out of bounds near the 35-yard line. Interception, George Ranch, off the deflection of Pittman. And the Longhorns will take over, leading 42-17 with 4:53 left to play.
And that pretty much will seal the deal right there. What a great ball game this defense have had. It's been kind of a bend, don't break. They gave up that long pass right off the bat for a touchdown on third down, but they've really played. This Longhorn defense got a lot to be proud of. Offense still got to go back. Coach Tullis got to work on these. We talked about it earlier. I believe they've had 11 penalties this game, and and that's something I can guarantee he doesn't like. A lot of them were just jumping off sides.
Yeah, that'll be the message to his team in the week leading up to the state championship. As his team tonight, 591 yards of offense. 429 of those have come on the ground. And this team that averages 45 points per game, sitting on 42 against one of the state's best teams in Class 5A. Shotgun for Jackson. Jackson will take the snap. He hands it off. Fontenot. Fontenot to the 35. Bounces it outside of the 40. Looking for the edge. Can't find it. Still on his feet. And he dives forward to the 45. There's no quit in him. And that's not Fontenot. That's the first carry, rather, by David Fisher, the sophomore running back. David Fisher gets his first touch. And, well, I guess when you're behind Darius Anderson and Alex Fontenot, that's the only way you know how to run. Pick up a 13.
Yep, hard and downhill.
Fisher now in the backfield as they've brought in the reserves. New quarterback in there as well with less than 4.5 to play and the clock ticking away. No, it's still Jackson. Jackson's still in. Just about everybody else to back up. First and 10 at their own 45. Jackson turns, hands it off Fisher. Fisher up the middle. Across the 45-yard line to the 47. He picks up 2 yards before he's brought off his feet. Chambers the tackle. 2-yard pickup. After the game, Mark Johnson will be down on the field, and he'll have a conversation with head coach Ricky Tellis of George Ranch. As George Ranch now in their 4-minute offense, trying to use up as much time as they can and limit the amount of plays before this one's all said and done. Pair of receivers to the far side, one to the near. Jackson in the shotgun. He has Fisher behind him. Turn, handoff Fisher. Fisher running right. Big tackle as he's brought down to the line of scrimmage. Well, I got to tell you, Isaiah Chambers for Vista Ridge has been all over the place. He's your punter, he's your linebacker, and Jeremiah Chambers, boy, somebody's going to get them a very good player.
Like I said earlier, you saw him fill on several of the plays where they go to cut back inside there. And this will be tough, you know. A lot of these guys, this is their last high school game, so they'll move on to the next level.
3rd down and 8. Ball at the 47. Handoff again. Goes to Fisher. Fisher up the middle, not much there. Gets to the line of scrimmage, and a timeout taken by Vista Ridge. We'll take it too. 2:41 left to play in the 4th quarter. George Ranch leads the Class 5A state semifinal 42-7, 42-17 on Texan Live.
At Cavenders, we don't just wear the West, we live it.
I live for a good run.
I live for the crowd.
My scar.
7 flat in the short round.
My face.
Working with my partner.
8 seconds, nothing less.
Rooting for the bull.
Cavenders, don't just wear it, live it.
Cerna is a local family-owned business located right on Will Clayton and a one-stop shop for your home, auto, liability, and business insurance needs. Please stop in or give us a call at 281-812-9775. We're also proud to support all of the Humble ISD athletes.
Back at Energy Stadium in Houston, 2:41 left to play in the 4th quarter. It's a 42-17 lead for George Ranch. And George Ranch will send their punt team on. Zach Hutton, the punter, will kick it away. Back deep is Bryce Dahl. Hutton takes the snap. End over end line drive kick, bounces to 24. Dahl's going to pick it up at the 13, trying to spin away from everybody. Can't do it. And he's brought down to the 13-yard line. And with 2:32, that's where Vista Ridge will have the football, trailing 42-17. .232 left. Let's see if Vista Ridge maybe gets some of the senior backups into the game. Snow is still in at quarterback. And senior Bryce Dahl, who gets a lot of run for a backup running back, is into the game now. Snow's going to throw over to the near side, and it's in and out of the hands of Pittman. Pittman couldn't hang on. It goes off his hands and out of bounds. And delivering a blow on the tail end was Beck. .228 left. 2nd down and 10 upcoming. Matt Snow in the gun. He takes the snap. He's looking to throw. Snow off his back foot. Throws it deep over the middle of the field. And again, looking for Pittman. Pittman couldn't secure it. McVeigh was in coverage. Hawkins was in coverage. And now 3rd down and 10, 2:21 left. Shotgun formation. Rolling out over to the near side. Falls as he throws, but the catch is made at the 26. Fighting for yardage towards the 30 is Ryan Landrum. They spot him out at the 28-yard line. And it's a pickup of 12 yards and a 1st down. Clock rolls under 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Snow will get the ball on the gun, rolls left, throws left. It's caught at the 30, across the 35. Breaking a tackle is Tyler Harris. Harris trying to bring tacklers down with him and does to the 37-yard line. It's a pickup of 8 yards. Second down and 2 coming up. Taking the snap, Snow. Snow fires near side, and it's incomplete. Not sure if he was looking for Pittman or if he was looking for Landrum. Either he overthrew Pittman or he underthrew Landrum. It was right there in no man's land.
Well, he got a little bit thrown off there whenever the ball hit the ground there, and I think that was just supposed to be a quick pass and a little bit behind the one receiver, Pittman.
Third down and 2 coming up. Shotgun formation, 4 receivers set, 2 each side. Snow takes the snap, looking to run, has the first down to the 40, slip. Turf Monster got him at the 43-yard line. It's a pickup of 6 yards, but a first down with 1:27 to play. Timeout taken by Vista Ridge. We'll take it too. 1:27 left to play in the fourth quarter. George Ranch leads 42-17 on Texan Live.
At Cavender's, we don't just West, we live it.
I live for a good run.
I live for the crowd.
My scar.
7 flat in the short round.
My face.
Working with my partner.
8 seconds, nothing less.
Rooting for the bull.
Cavender's. Don't just wear it, live it.
1:27 left. Fourth and final quarter, 42-17. With Bert Brocker, I'm Jeremy Branham. Vista Ridge will come out with the football. First down and 10. They have 1 timeout left, trailing by 25. You know, they'd like to score to end the season on a positive note. What a year it's been for Rodney Vincent and his team as Snow will throw it over to the near side. It's caught near the 45-yard line, running forward. And getting it to the 44 was Ryan Landrum. Pickup of 12 yards. Good enough for the first down. Snow going quickly. Snow rolling out to the left side. Throws it on the far hash rather. It's caught at the 35, running forward across the 30 to the 29. And tackled there was Cody Williams. That's a pickup of 15 yards to the 29. Snow again throwing it over the near side. Overshoots his man. He was looking for Landrum, and it's incomplete. Minute left to play in the fourth. Second down and 10. Shotgun up the middle. Running it up the middle is Valaire. Valaire with room. He's at the 10, he's at the 5, and he's into the end zone. Isaiah Valaire scores from 29 yards out. And that touchdown the Vista Ridge wanted on their way home, they just got. As Valaire over the 100-yard mark already. He's able to get into the end zone for his first score of the night. And that one's going to feel sweet. They'll go for 2, it appears. Coaching staff telling the official that they want the ball on the far hash. Well, 2-point conversion, you can pick what hash you want it on or where you want it in between the hashes, and they want it all the way on that far hash. So eventually they roll out to the near side. So Snow in the gun, he has trips to the near side. Valaire's to his right shoulder. Snow's going to roll out to the near side, looking to run. Looses the football, it's on the ground. Still loose, and finally just jumping on top of it is George Ranch, and the 2-point conversion is no good. We'll step away. 42-23, 54 seconds left to play on Texan Live.
Come enjoy the heart of Katy, Texas, one of the most delightful cities in the Lone Star State. The best part? It's a short drive from Houston and minutes from the Energy Corridor. With places to stay and places to play, anything you'd like to eat, and an old town charm that can't be beat. Activities and fun for the entire family. Enjoy the best of both worlds in the City of Champions, Katy, Texas. For more information, go to cityofkaty.com.
.54 seconds left at NRG Stadium in Houston, fourth and final quarter. George Ranch in front 42-23. Good to see Vista Ridge get into the end zone, though, as they get a 10-play, 87-yard drive, minute 38 off the clock. Isaiah Valeri's had such a great career with Vista Ridge, able to get into the end zone for 29 yards out. Onside kick will be coming. You have to figure an onside sneak is coming with 54 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. So to kick it away will be Shiramonte. Shiramonte has it teed up on the near hash. He's got 6 players on the far side. Boots it over to the far side, and it's scooped up and picked up by George Ranch. They recover the onside kick. They'll send the offense back on. And you have to figure they'll put it on a knee and advance to the state championship game.
And wow, what a year for Coach Tullis. I know last year, like you said, got knocked out by Temple and made it to this round this year. And, you know, how proud you have to be. You're undefeated. You're going into a state championship, and you just got to feel great about where you're at today.
We'll step away and come back with the final 52 seconds. 42-23, George Ranch in front on Texan Live.
At Cavenders, we don't just wear the West, we live it.
I live for a good run.
I live for the crowd. My scar.
7 flat in the short round.
My face.
Working with my partner.
8 seconds, nothing less.
Rooting for the bull.
Cavenders, don't just wear it, live it.
Back with 52 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. It's a 42-23 lead, and now victory formation for George Ranch. If they play this right, it'll just be 2 steps. That's all that's needed. And Vista Ridge has that 1 timeout left, but they know that the end is inevitable, and they will not use the timeout. So they take the snap, and they'll have 1 more to go before they advance to their first ever state championship game, which right at this moment looks like it's going to be Lake Ridge. 1 more snap, drop it to a knee, and that'll do it. George Ranch stays perfect as they improve to 15-0 and will head to the Class 5A Division I state championship game for the first time in school history, with a chance for their state title and a perfect 16-0 record. We'll take a quick break. Our post-game show. Mark Johnson on the field coming up next on Texan Live.
Only one network is big enough to cover the great state of Texas, and only one show travels across the state to get the skinny on high school sports every week, all year long. You want the best in high school sports? Catch High School Spotlight on Fox Sports Southwest.
Download the new Fox Sports Southwest Football Friday app. Connect and get live scores statewide. Find games near you. Plus, get your photos on our Friday night show. This is the one app that can handle high school football in Texas. Get the App Store and type Football Friday. Friday high school football isn't over till you watch High School Scoreboard live. Final scores, big plays, plus the DQ Big Game of the Week.
Be a part of the most watched high school football show in Texas.
Saturday night on Fox Sports Southwest.
Welcome you back into our post-game show at NRG Stadium in Houston. And advancing to the state championship for the first time in school history is George Ranch, as they improve now to 15-0 on the year. A 42-23 victory over Vista Ridge. Vista Ridge will fall to 12-3, but what a season as well for Rodney Vincent and his Rangers. Great job getting to the state semifinals. You never want to see it end. Vista Ridge, heck of a job getting to the state semi. Let's give you some of the final numbers in this one. Vista Ridge, 375 yards of offense, 191 on the ground, 184 through the air. Their leading rusher was Valère, who had 14 carries, 112 yards and a touchdown. Snow had 19 carries, 56 yards and a score. Through the air, Snow was 11 of 27, 184 yards, a touchdown and interception. Leading receiver was Landrum, who caught 3 passes for 75 yards and a touchdown. Now the numbers for George Ranch, and they're unbelievable. 632 yards, the most given up by Vista Ridge this year. 470 on the ground, 162 through the air. Their leading rusher was Anderson, 18 carries, 269 yards, 2 touchdowns. Fontenot had 16 carries, 169 yards of his own. Jackson was 6 of 7 through the air, 162 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Morris had 1 catch, 62 yards. Scruggs had 3 catches for 63 yards. Bert, what a job this George Ranch team has done to this point. Next up, a game at 8 o'clock next Friday for the Class 5A Division I Championship. It looks like it's going to be Lake Ridge, the opponent that they will face. But your thoughts on this one, George Ranch advancing to the state final for the first time in school history?
Well, the main thing, their defense played tonight. I mean, this defense tonight, this was a really, really good ball team, Vista Ridge, and they did a nice job. They gave up, like I said, on the first possession, a long play for a touchdown, no problem. Fought their way back into it, and and settled down. And how important is that? Because, as we said, it very well could have turned into be a track meet. Kind of looked like it was going to be with the big plays right off the bat. Instead, Coach Tullis, his defensive coordinator, settled them down and did a really nice job. And then it goes back to what we said. How remarkable was Fontenot and Darius Anderson. What a job they did. How exciting for these kids. How exciting for these fans. And they're just absolutely going crazy down there right now. I think we're fixing to go down to.
What a game this was for George Ranch as they get the victory tonight. Mark Johnson's on the field. Just shortly, he's standing by with Ricky Tullis. We'll send it down whenever Mark is ready. As Ricky Tullis, he wants to enjoy this one with his team. And right now he's going to congratulate all of his coaches, all of his players, as a very thrilling victory getting to the state championship. He knows the job is not done. And you bring up a good point about the 2 running backs. How does that help so much with an offense?
Well, I mean, it's two-headed. And then you got Shrugs and that you bring in on the jet sweep that's there. And you got a quarterback that's very versatile. He can run, he can throw. Saw him throw several out patterns, and just what a phenomenal job he did.
George Ranch awaiting the winner. 42-23. We talk so much about the offense of George Ranch, though. The defense tonight holding a very good offense to 23 points. They give up their yards, but only 23 points. You can't say enough about that defense.
You really can't because, it's like I said, defense still wins championships.
Couldn't be more proud of the kids tonight, the job they did. Very good football team. They come out. Wasn't sharp early, settled down and got our composure back and finished it off. I'm very proud of them.
600 yards of total offense tonight.
Wow.
Talk about your offensive line.
Unbelievable. Every week they're getting better and better and better. And the running backs keep getting better and better and better. It doesn't surprise me one bit. Vista Ridge has a great defense. That's fantastic.
How excited are you for these kids?
What's the highest that you could? What's the highest word you could use?
I don't know. Let's hear it from you.
Unbelievably.
Head coach Ricky Tullis in a press conference setting down low.
It's fantastic. I'm a loss for words here. I couldn't be more proud of those guys, those seniors that have been with us. A couple of them have been 3-year starters, and they just keep battling and battling and battling.
Thanks, Coach. Can I get you there?
Let's go down to Mark Johnson with Ricky Tullis.
Oh, okay.
Getting a big bear hug.
Huh?
that takes priority, right? The big bear hug?
No.
All right, there's Mark
Coach,
Johnson.
first of all, congratulations. You guys are headed to the state finals. How does this feel?
It's an unbelievable feeling. Like I said a while ago, I'm so proud for these kids, our school, our community. the work they put in, it's just fantastic.
You guys trailed at the beginning of the game there, I believe it was 14-7, but you guys came back with force, may I say. What did you say to your guys at halftime to try to keep this going?
We told them at half that we needed to eliminate the mistakes that we made the first half. We had way too many penalties, too much extracurricular activity going on after whistles. It just wasn't playing our game. And I told our guys, you're up by 11, you go out and clean it up, we'll move on. And they did that the second half.
Going into the state finals, you guys really stuck to your running game today, of course, with Fontenot and Anderson rushing for all those yards that they rushed for. What are you going to do going into this next game? Do you have a strategy?
No, we're gonna continue to work and get better at the little things, some mistakes that we made tonight, and continue to be who we are. I mean, we've been this way for 5 years now, and we got to continue to work on the little things and get better. But we're going to take what a defense gives us.
Coach, you're headed to the state finals. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you. It means the world. Thank you.
Thank you to Mark Johnson downstairs with the happy Ricky Tullis, head coach of George Ranch's 15-0 Longhorns, advancing to the state championship game. And the matchup and the date has been set. 8 o'clock Friday. 8 o'clock a week from today, next Friday, it'll be George Ranch taking on Lake Ridge, who knocks off Aledo a little bit earlier tonight. So Lake Ridge and George Ranch in the Class 5A Division I Championship next Friday at 8 here at NRG Stadium. Also, another score from 6A is Allen falls to Austin Westlake 23-17. Westlake ends the 57-game win streak for Allen.
Can you believe that? In Atascocita last week, right here out of the Houston area, and of course out of the North Corridor, it played a really, really good ball game against them. So, you just unbelievable. That's what everybody said. You want a chance to knock off the best, and Allen's definitely been that for years now. So it's got to be a great feeling for Westlake and what Coach Dodd and his staff's done there.
What a night of high school football. We're just getting started. We have so much more tomorrow as it continues the road to state with a trio of games at TexanLive.com. 1:30 is where our pregame show of Katy and Cibolo still gets underway. Michael Silver's Kenmore will be on the call of that one. 2 o'clock at NRG, Ridge Point against Cedar Park in the other 5A semifinal. And then the nightcap sees North Shore against Converse Judson. Catch it all at TexanLive.com. So we get our final score at NRG tonight. 42-23, George Ranch gets the victory. They advance to the state championship. Bert, your final thoughts?
Well, I just want to thank all of our crew like we do every week. They just do such a fine job. You had on the camera tonight Jesse Wolf. Jessica was down on the field doing all the Twitter. And Brandon Miner, Dre Matula, Mark Johnson, Jessica. I mean, it's just unbelievable all the support help we have behind this, Jeremy, and just can't be no more excited about it.
Yeah, a lot of fun tonight. It was always fun working with your partner. 42-23 the final scores. That's going to wrap it up for us here inside of NRG Stadium. For Bert Brocker, I'm Jeremy Branham telling you that the I's have been dotted, the T's have been crossed. This one is in the books. George Ranch, for the first time in school history, is headed to the state championship game with a matchup with Lake Ridge a week from tonight. Until tomorrow, and Texan Live has 3 games coming your way. So long from NRG Stadium in Houston.